to the ICL. So tonight we've got Love Delore taking on Ten Hu. But first, we want to thank the judges and everyone that's helping out. And we have someone that can articulate things way better than I can because they're way smarter than me. So, Tegan, do you have anything you want to say about that?
Sure. What's up, everybody, and welcome in. Welcome to tonight's ICL match. I think it's a really exciting match. And before we get started, we just want to remind everyone that all ICL matches are overseen and officiated by experienced Lorcana rules experts to help maintain fair and accurate competitive gameplay. I think we all know how important judges are, and our judges for tonight's match are volunteers provided by the Lorcana Rulebook Hub, a fan-made Discord community that is dedicated to helping players and aspiring judges understand the rules and policies of Disney Lorcana. Tonight's stream judge is John Santos, with backup support from Ellie Updahl. I know John has judged DLCs before, so I know the judging should be really top quality tonight, and I'm really excited. We've got two really exciting teams tonight and two really experienced teams. We've got a really experienced lineup. What are your kind of initial thoughts on the lineup tonight, Dick?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm rooting for Love Delore. So when my co-host on Lore Chronicles was playing a lot more actively before she got an adult job for some reason, she was part of the Love Delore crew, and they would always share her accomplishments. And it's her first card game ever. She appreciated that. I know when I met her at locals, she didn't necessarily feel super comfortable in the trading card game space. So, as someone with two daughters who I never wanted to play card games before, but now seeing this community, I would totally bring them to locals. I appreciate everything Love Delore is doing. So, that's who I'm rooting for. And unfortunately, it's Whopper Wednesday, but no one has beef. Both teams are so nice. Like, I haven't seen any trash talk in either direction.
Yeah, I don't think there's any bad blood between these two teams. I think both teams are full of really incredible players and real leaders in our community. Love Delore, like you mentioned, is doing really awesome work, and I love to see new people join that space. And the kind of conversations that happen in that space are always really supportive. People who go to their league and maybe have a bad interaction with someone and just need a space to kind of talk and feel supported. And the space is really, really helpful for that. This is my first TCG too, and so coming in as a woman, you never know quite what you're going to get. And I really love that this space has kind of developed to be a community for people who are wanting to connect and help support each other, kind of become more skilled. I talk about it a lot that there's a lot of people that have been playing Magic for years and years and years, and like I'm just starting this journey, right? I feel like I'm trying to catch up to people who have 20 years of experience on me. So anything like Love to Lore, I think, is really, really, really helpful for people like myself.
Absolutely. And as far as Tian Hu goes, so obviously I know Ed, hung out with him at some DLCs, rooted for him. Chris actually wrecked me in Seattle. I already didn't want to play, and I think I dropped the round after he just like Diabloed me to death. I have not played Josie yet, but you're from their area, right?
Yeah, I'm from the Bay. I get to see a lot of Tianhu at locals and at set championships, which is actually pretty terrifying, to be honest. I'll never forget my first top eight was the Ursula Return Championships, and it was the weekend after uh, Dallas. And I sat down for my top eight match across from Ed, um, playing Ed's deck. And needless to say, I got cooked. It looks like the players are ready. So up first, we've got Linz playing for Love to Lore and Josie playing for Tian Hu.
So we don't have deck lists. I'm assuming we've got some Mufasas coming from
Yeah,
Lynn's
I,
side.
Linz is known for playing Fossa, so I
Yeah.
think I think we're about to see some Mufasa. I'd assume Red Fossa. I know that's kind of the favorite. Um, I'm not sure what Josie plays actually. I've been at lots of tournaments with Josie, but I don't know what her deck of choice is.
Well, for Linz's sake, I'm hoping that they won the die roll. Mufasa so much better on the play, so backbreaking on the play. Sometimes just playing a Mufasa into a full board already, your opponent just feels helpless.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't know how to use Discord.
on the
Cool.
on the play, definitely playing that turn 3 Gaston and jumping ahead to 5 ink can really put a Fossa deck out in front. Um, but you have to have the Fossa to be able, or the Gaston to be able to play it on turn 3. Certainly, that's before it can be brawled, and so uh, it'll be interesting to see if Linz has it here out of the gate. Looks like Maleficent going into the Inkwell. Lynn's using Love to Lore ink tokens. These ink tokens came out Vegas weekend, I think. The Illumiteers did a series of them working with different content creators, and Love to Lore had a series of them issued.
Awesome. I'm jealous. The Forbidden Mountain got some. No dick tokens. And Inkin and Lilo. So I'm assuming Amber Steel.
Yeah, probably an Amber Steel list here. Inking a Lilo and playing the Daisy Duck. Always a good way to start off with Daisy on turn 1.
Yeah, if this is traditional Amber Steel, I'm really going to be worried for Linz. I feel the whole New World variants, unless you get exactly the Gaston on 3, it's just so easy for the Amber Steel deck to play out their hand as fast as humanly possible. Whole New World away a few cards from the opponent.
The whole new world can be really disruptive when you've got a list like a Fossa list that wants to kind of play a linear game plan and has kind of mulliganed into that linear game plan. So inking to 2 and Mother Gothel coming down. I think Gothel is probably what you're always wanting to play on 2 in this list to set up for a Rapunzel play.
Yes, which again, the Rapunzel so much better when your opponent doesn't have a whole new world.
Yep. Looks like Piglet being inked and a Piglet being played. So this is either an aggressive traditional Amber Steel or more of a diggy diggy style of deck.
Which is so nice that you still have no idea if you're the spectator. You just have no clue, which is so great for the diversity of the metagame.
It's one of my favorite things to think about when I'm deck building is building and then playing in a way that maybe hides what I'm trying to do.
Yep. Yeah. Not inking something from the opposite color, stuff like that, if you can help it.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, if you didn't know, I think we've only seen yellow cards inked and yellow cards played. Like we don't actually know that Josie is on Amber Steel. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
pretty good assumption.
it could be hyper aggro. Uh, we can go super megatonic.
It looks like Linz is curving out pretty nicely here, inking the Goofy and playing the Gaston on 3. From here, Linz can jump straight to 5, or I know one of the plays that Linz likes to do with this deck is like play the Rapunzel this turn and then exert Gaston to play another 2-drop for free.
Oh yeah, and there is just no punish for this Gaston this early. Also, how nice is this Daisy for Linz? I'm assuming there's little to no actions in the deck.
Yeah, I imagine there would be very, very few with it being a Mufasa list. With Mufasa, of course, when you flip that top card, if it's an action, it stays on the top of the deck. So you're incentivized to play as many characters as possible, and that feeds in really nicely to leaving that daisy on the field as long as you can possibly tolerate it.
All right, so we do have a steal. Okay. And I was going to say we're playing off curve, but no, we're just going to drop a bunch of characters in one turn. Drawing the Cinderella pretty late, in my opinion. She would really like to have the Cinderella early to be able to start singing the songs that clear the Mother Gothel before turn 4. Now, if a Rapunzel comes down, it's going to be back-breaking.
Yeah, not having that Cinderella on 1 makes it much more difficult. If that Cinderella was out on 1, you could have removed the Gothel and then probably had a wide enough board that you could sing Strength and remove the Gaston.
Absolutely.
So Gaston going to exert here, exerting 2 ink, 4-drop Raya.
Oh, spicy. That is spicy.
Yeah.
Gaston. I've not even thought of this.
So Raya's been showing up in these lists, and this is the wombo combo. This is the dream here. So inking, triggering Raya, re-reading Gaston, and now going to be able to use Gaston's exert ability again to play another character that is discounted. So now can tap the other 2 ink and play the Rapunzel.
Do they have it? Oh my god. And with the flex.
And that is just pretty devastating for Josie. Linz is just really super far ahead here, able to challenge, remove the piglet. And even the Gaston is still going to be hard to remove here.
Yeah. I mean, I think the best thing out of Josie this turn could be challenging the Gaston with 2 characters and then a Rapunzel of their own. But it's going to be really hard to deal with the Raya and the Rapunzel from Linz's side, even if Josie has that answer. Wow. So Raya effectively costing 0 ink that turn. That's incredible.
Yep. And now we'll be able to repeat that every turn effectively.
Yeah. Wow, man. We could have a dragon in play.
You could very, very quickly here, right? Because next turn, Raya, you can exert Gaston, ink, re-ready Gaston, exert Gaston again, tap your 4 ink, ink for turn, tap that, and play a dragon.
Yeah, that is amazing. Tiana, not really what Josie wants to see, right? Especially on the draw. Okay, does have a strength, but what do you clear?
Choosing to clear the Raya.
Yeah, there's merit for both, right? Because the Raya does mean you can challenge multiple times with the same character, but Gaston giving 2 additional ink. I would be tempted just to take out the Gaston as well with the Smee and the Daisy. But Josie might feel like, hey, I've got to just quest and end this game because the card advantage is too much to overcome.
It's a tricky spot. I think the problem here is that even without the Raya, getting that Gaston value, we're able to play a Surfer Stitch this turn. We're able to play, a 6-drop Tremaine or Medusa to start clearing the board, dealing with the Tiana, with a potential Medusa.
Yeah, which we saw flip from the Daisy Duck, and only 1 card in hand for Josie.
Yeah.
So off to an 11-0, but we'll see. Card advantage can sometimes trump everything else. So many options. Effectively drawing 2 cards a turn.
Yeah. The card advantage is definitely in Linz's favor in this matchup. Seeing the 1 damage placed on the Smee as Josie passes the turn back over to Linz. No captain on the field since we lost Piglet.
Right. Although half the time I don't want a captain on the field when I'm hoping to draw Rapunzel.
It's a bit of an interesting quandary sometimes. You know, hoping to play that Rapunzel, hoping to have damage to heal off to be able to draw. I think the Kiwi Birds deck also kind of struggles with that same thing. That deck has been playing the 3-drop John Silver as a captain, which makes your opponent not have to. A character cannot challenge next turn. Um, it's a captain, which prevents the Smee damage. But that deck also plays Baymax, wanting to heal the damage off of uh, the Smee. So it's, I think, one of the hard things about playing Smee and pairing it with those cards. So we see Super Goof coming down here, tapping 4 ink. Super Goof, of course, a kind of big player at last weekend's Melbourne DLC.
Oh yeah.
It was in DKP's list as a 4 of. Coming down, challenging the Smee and staying alive, only taking the 3 damage. Gaston challenging the Cinderella, which I
Yep.
don't think you expect to happen a lot of the time, but I think Lynn's really valuing just trying to slow the game down a little bit and slow down um, that questing pressure that Josie is representing, especially before that Tiana turns sideways.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, worst case scenario, Josie draws a 2 questing character for the rest of the game. So the ball is certainly in Linz's court. She can definitely win before that would happen, especially with the Super Goof. Not only taking out a character, but also gaining lore.
One of the things that this kind of diggy, aggressive Amber Steel list really misses, I think, is that extra bit of reach that a Amber Amethyst hyper aggressive deck has in terms of goats and gathering knowledge and wisdom. Um, we see
Oh,
Doc
must.
coming down here.
Yep, I was gonna say must have drawn 2 docs. I
Oh,
know that feeling all too well.
it's the worst thing.
Yeah, it always happens. It's like a whole new world. They just are super glued together. I swear. Yeah. I think Josie is considering. Am I actually now the one on the defense here? Do I need to start challenging with this Tiana?
What are you really going to challenge? The Super Goof.
It's rough because there's 2 characters that have 3 damage on it. So Rapunzel is still the scariest thing ever. I would probably stick to questing, but it's nice to stop and think about it. Some players get way too honed in on one thing and don't realize when they need to flip the switch in one way or the other. So this is very smart from her. But yeah, if I'm taking out anything, it's probably going to be the Super Goof. Oh, singing.
Gaining strength. That avoids putting any damage on the Tiana, and also, of course, draws you a card, which is pretty important here.
Yes. Yeah, I think the Super Goof would have been a lot more backbreaking to heal. Getting another maybe 2 challenges out of it, gaining 2 each time.
So it looks like Gaston being exerted here, a bunch of ink being tapped. Here comes the Medusa, taking out that Tiana, and no longer going to have her ability of making it more difficult to challenge in. Josie is now only
Oh,
representing 2 lore on board as a Piglet comes down, and it, as you were kind of mentioning, Lynn's now becoming the beatdown as she really takes over the questing pressure.
yeah, this is going to be really, really hard to come back from. And good on Linz for knowing exactly when was the time to flip the switch of, all right, I controlled the game as much as I needed to. Time for me to close the game.
Yeah, you really don't want to allow Josie to like draw into another dock, play out two daisies, and represent a whole lot of lore on board.
Yes, exactly. If aside from just drawing a bunch of characters that quest for a lot, I'm really looking for the Seven Dwarfs Mine to try to maybe even deter Linz from questing by having to use her characters to take out the mine itself.
Yeah, I think mine would be important. Potentially a Rapunzel. Now that you have the Daisy on board, you could challenge the Gothel, put max damage on the Daisy, and heal it off to be able to give yourself some card advantage back. But mine would be pretty impactful here, I think. Josie does find an answer for the Piglet, which will slow Linz down significantly.
Yes, that 3 lore in one chunk, no joke. it, it is a scary, scary little pig.
Rapunzel, the only character here that quests for more than one on Linz's board. So, um, while Linz definitely has a lot of board presence here, not questing for a lot. Tapping the Gaston and 4, it looks like, for another 6 cost.
Oh,
Here comes
yeah.
Tremaine, banishing the remaining Daisy.
Yeah, in that situation, twice as good as Medusa. Quest for 2.
Yep. It's been really interesting to see Tremaine kind of come back more into the meta this set, since we kind of have these bigger, uh, higher strength characters like Maui Shark, um, and other characters kind of taking over the meta that can't be removed with Medusa. Medusa kind of was the main removal in red decks for a couple of sets, but Tremaine coming back in this set, and it looks like Josie's just going to scoop it up there,
Yeah.
knowing that there's not really any card in her deck that she could draw that could get her back into it.
And it probably won't come down to it in these two mostly aggressive matches, but there is a time limit here in the ICL. So you always want to keep that in the back of your head instead of trying to go for the 1% win, just packing it up and trying to get better luck the next time. But yeah,
ICL matches are timed to an hour, I believe, for 3 games.
Yeah, I from playing online, games take way longer. They just
They
do.
really do. It's
Yeah,
like communication back and forth is a little harder. Like being clear about which card you're attacking. Like everything just takes a little bit more time.
absolutely. Yeah, I love Lady Tremaine. I My favorite thing was when your opponent thought you're gonna be prepared on 7, and you don't, and you be prepared on turn 9, and then they think they're really smart and they play 2 characters, and then you play Tremaine, shift onto Tremaine, and then they have to read the card and make sure you're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
But
I
then when you need to take out one character and they've got a TPO, it feels like the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, the like TPO protection or the like other little one drop protections can be very frustrating for Tremaine. I'll never forget the first time somebody did the shift Tremaine on Tremaine and then bounce it with a snake back to hand,
Oh,
and I was like, That's not fair."
yeah, that's just rude. I don't know why shifting a character doesn't put the other one in your discard pile. I swear. It's just especially like if you're gonna let it go and your opponent shifted something, it just feels awful.
Mhm. So players here in the altering phase, and Lynn's kind of set a number of cards off to the side, but waited until Josie made her decision, and I think that's a heads up play, right? Like, I even sometimes just kind of forget that when you are going second, you do get to wait. Um, but I think Lynn's, playing a Fossa deck, it's a pretty linear game plan at the beginning. You're really mulliganing for a couple of kind of specific lines, and so probably already has a pretty good instinct of what she's going to mulligan.
Yes, but there are definitely times where your opponent full ships 7 and you're like, "Oh, maybe mine is actually just good enough." Like I have things to ink, I have things to play.
Yep. Cutting the deck here, and getting ready for game 2. Josie will be on the play this game, so, hopefully we can see her kinda get off to a faster start this game. Um,
Yeah, I feel like last game she was just a turn behind and it was really the Gaston that sealed it.
Daisy on turn 1.
Exactly what you want to see. This is not the Lilo matchup. The Lilo matchup basically has 1.5 decks it's good against. It's good against Ruby Sapphire, and half the time it's good against Ruby Amethyst.
It could definitely be really tricky to figure out when the correct time to bring the Lilo back is.
Oh yeah, we saw from Australia. Not too many people have a good handle on it, including myself at times. It's just such a novel concept in this game.
So Raya coming to Linz's hand, and that's pretty good for Linz. If she didn't already have the Raya, um, well, inking a Raya, so that tells me she might already have one.
Yep, just like you know what? Thanks for the free ink this turn. Didn't even need it. Appreciate you.
Gothel coming down on turn 2.
Yeah, we're gonna need something. I don't even know if we can wait to get to Rapunzel Inc. We're gonna need something to stifle this Smee and Daisy.
Yeah, Josie will be going to 6 this turn, and Gothel can't really challenge in and try to do anything about it this turn. Um, because if she does, then you lose your ability to draw with Rapunzel.
Yes.
And that really is the only card draw in these Mufasa decks for the most part.
Yes. Luckily the opponent has been drawing cards for Linz. But very unlucky. Linz has not had a 1-drop. I'm glancing over a deck list now. There's 7 1-drops. So after altering, statistics would say you would have something to play on 1. Still getting it done game 1 though.
I think it probably hurts to not have the 1-drop more on the draw than on the play. On the play, I think you're happy just to kind of go into your like Gothel Gaston plan. And
Absolutely.
so we did see Josie hard casting strength, which it's hard to know without knowing what the rest of the hand texture was, but um, hard casting that to remove the Gothel um, a turn before uh, we're going to see Rapunzel value, I think is interesting. But it might just be that Josie didn't really have another good turn 3 play.
Yeah, if I had the Tiana, I would probably just run out the Tiana, maybe not offer up the Smee that turn. The Daisy Duck was still fine no matter what. But the strength, if the Smee was going to get traded with the Gothel, it was kind of like just playing another 2 lore character. So Tiana might have been the draw for the turn.
Yeah.
I would, you know what? I would have loved to see Julieta with the Mulan and the Mother Gothels.
Mhm.
Julieta, funny enough, can remove the damage off Smee to draw a
Hmm.
card.
Interesting.
Yeah, most people overlook that it can heal anything and draw a card, even the opponent's character. So it could stifle an opponent's Rapunzel, especially if you're going to clear the Smee anyway with something like the Sisu with 4 health.
Sure.
Yep, there's the backup Raya from the inked one earlier. And yeah, no downside to questing. Josie would have to run in 2 characters to be able to clear it, or play an action and throw a character at it, which I'm sure Linz would be absolutely happy to deal with on the draw, slowing down the aggression.
Yeah. Josie probably not considering doing that at all here. I think she's just going to be happy to turn everything sideways.
Oh
I
yeah.
think what we're going to look for from Linz on this next turn, uh, you know, going to 5 ink. I don't know if she's playing Maui, but Maui could come down and potentially remove something even through the Tiana um, damage restriction.
Oh yeah, I forget that it just reduces the power. I haven't played much with or against Tiana. I'm thinking it just stops the attack altogether. I forgot that it just reduces the power some.
It's -3.
Yeah, which against most things is backbreaking. Like we value willpower over strength more often, especially with like Rapunzel in our deck.
Not having the Gaston here, for Linz can be a little bit of trouble here in the middle ground or in the middle
Yes.
game. Because these Mufasa decks just kind of want to skip over these like 4 or 5 ink turns and really kind of skip um, to 6 ink and start playing some of those board control cards. In fact, Lynn's only playing 1 5-drop in her deck, the Mufasa. She's not playing Maui.
Opting to trade it for the Sisu instead of letting the Sisu trade back. I would be afraid of a shift Sisu though, for sure.
Yeah. I think that's
But
a heads up play. Knowing that the majority of your board here only has 1 strength. We're still 2 turns away from it.
yes, yeah, especially with the Pluto bodyguard. Bodyguard plus Tiana protection. I wouldn't have fired it off that turn. Although she could have drew the Pluto off of the storm. Of course, we
Yeah.
can't see the hand cams. But yeah, Josie's still in control of this game so far. We're in her wheelhouse right now of trying to end the game early.
She will be questing for up to 5 next turn. Another Sisu coming down, which again threatens that shift target next turn.
Yes.
Inking the Pongo. One thing to note about Raya is that Raya cannot ready herself. It is another character. So you couldn't quest with Raya here and then use Raya's ability on that ink to re-ready Raya.
Yeah, Raya. When I first didn't read that card and just listened to what the internet was saying, that it was an infinite sing and then ready itself with how far I'll go. I'm like, oh, this card's insane. But no, it's a reasonable card instead of an insane card.
It's
still
only once per
still
turn
very good.
as well.
Yeah, people just want cards to do the most busted things possible instead of actually reading the card. But there's a reason sleeve companies used to sell sleeves that said read the card on the back of them. I myself not great at reading.
So Daisy coming down here and one ink being exerted. I think Josie just wanting to put as much lore on the board as possible, but she might just be playing into that Sisu shift.
Yes, I would be so afraid of the Sisu. Oh, well, if you were going to discard your hand anyway, though. Oh,
Yep.
the last card must be Doc. That's how Doc works. Always comes in twos. Judy Hops. That's a spicy one. That's a
Yeah,
nice ink sink.
Judy Hopps also having a ready effect. Support 3/6. At the end of your turn, you may ready another chosen character of yours.
Wow, with a support character in this deck, I'd love to have seen the Shift Mulan with the little one. Looking through the deck list, not seeing the Shift Mulan. Usually way more cute than good, but we've seen some highlight reels from the Shift Mulan in the ICL already.
Yeah, I know Red Blue was testing it for a little bit over the past few weeks. Inking the Judy Hopps, though, will not be seeing Judy here in this moment.
And did not draw, I'm assuming, did not draw the Shift Sisu, which would have quested for 3. Which, the fact that a Daisy Duck has been double drawing Lens seems unlucky. No, have the Shift
There it is.
Sisu. Okay.
That seems. Uh, I mean, so Lynn's not shifting it initially because she wanted to take advantage of the Raya ready, right?
Yes.
If you ink before questing, correct.
Right.
Yeah, if she didn't have enough ink to shift it, so inking down and then being able to shift it afterwards after it's ready.
Yeah, I did not think we would want to that we were going to throw the Raya into the Pluto. So I was thinking if we could just shift it, offer the Pluto. I mean, Sisu quests for 3. Raya has so much utility. So it was just an option of which one do you want your opponent to be able to clear with the Pluto? Just clear it yourself with your own Raya and then clean it up with Sisu when it only has 1 power, or not quest at all, ink, not use the Raya ability, and then quest for 3,
I think it's
offering up the trade.
I
Either
think
one
it's
is fine. I don't think it was a misplay or anything.
I think it's a tough line to kind of figure out. There's a number of different options there that you could have taken that turn.
Yes, absolutely. Which, some people might look at this and be like, oh, 60 characters, that's easy to play. No, far from it.
So Josie just hard casting strength and putting 2 more damage on the Sisu, and Linz has the punish playing the
Oh,
Rapunzel
oh
and
my.
drawing
Yeah.
3 cards.
If I had to guess, Josie had the dock in hand and was like, you know what, I'm so far behind. I'm going ahead and put 2 damage on there, draw another card, hope it's an inkable, ink it, play the dock, possibly drawing another uninkable. Just gonna
Gothel coming down.
try to chain these. Oh, there's a 1-drop. I love Moana, by the way.
I do
mean,
too.
your opponent basically has to trade with it, or you're going to quest for one for a very long time.
One of my friends was running a very spicy list this weekend at Set Championships, a Ruby Steel Flynn deck that was running Moana, Flynn, Lawrence, and just gaining massive amounts of lore early on.
I like it. Tiana for Josie. So I'm assuming that I was right. Drew an
Yep.
uninkable, wasn't able to ink it. Sad to say for Josie, I think this game is pretty much under wraps.
Yeah, I think It's going to be, again, pretty hard to come back here. No board presence. Your opponent just has so much lore on board.
Yeah.
And
I'd
Josie
be doing
making
the same thing.
the same conclusion
Still had
here.
all these.
And that's going to wrap it up, it looks like.
Yep. You know what Lynn said? Play draw disparity? I don't think so.
Yeah, I was just lucky on my part.
Yeah.
But good games. The Tiana's awesome. Someone had Tiana in their list at set champs for me, and I faced them in top 8, and I did win, but I lost the one game that they actually stuck the Tiana, because I have to challenge until I get to the top end
Yeah.
removal.
I mean, it's like, I haven't actually practiced with Tiana. I kind of just added her in today.
Gotcha.
So it was like interesting just to try out. I'm kind of like,
Yeah,
after all the Continentals and stuff, I was like, I want to play something
Yeah.
a little different.
for sure. Any deck not running Brawl, Tiana's amazing.
Yeah.
Which my deck is not running Brawl, so.
Yeah, and I knew that Daisy was gonna, but there's no way I couldn't not play a 1-drop. Even
Yeah.
if it was Daisy, I had to put it down.
For sure.
You know, it was nice. They were interviewing themselves.
Oh.
Oh, we did, yeah. Sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all
Can
good.
they hear us?
Yeah, we can
Everyone
hear you
can
now.
hear you.
Wait, the stream can hear us?
Yeah. We
Oh,
all
what?
heard.
I
You
did
were
not
live
know
on the
that that
stream.
was. Oh.
We all heard
Yeah.
whoever farted 30 seconds ago.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I thought this was a private chat, not a everybody in the world can hear us chat.
Wasn't me.
Well, congratulations
This is
to
not in the
both of you.
disclosure.
Well, congratulations to both of you on a well-played game.
Definitely.
Josie, you just couldn't quite outrace the red removal in the match.
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
just really like if I could get that, 1-drop Cindy down first. Because like when once I knew he was playing Amber Ruby, like that Daisy just just gives him so many cards. I'm like, how many cards do you have? 7? Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, you kept asking, and I was like,
Yeah, well,
a lot.
Yeah, I couldn't see your hand because
could
of the
almost
way the
ink.
camera is. So I was like, oh, 7.
I could almost ink my Rapunzels at one point. I was thinking about it because I was just like, do I need these? But I wasn't sure if you were running Whole New World yet, so I was like, I don't know.
I definitely was hoping that I could start the game off with like a 1-drop Cindy, but I was also scared to like mulligan too hard because I seem to get a little unlucky and I'll just like get a ton of like uninks, especially with like Tiana too.
Mm-hmm.
How are you finding the Tiana in that deck? We kind of caught a little bit of your conversation that it's a new kind of test for you. How are you
I
finding
literally never played with Tiana before until this match. So this is my first experience with it. I mean, I get the gist of how it works, but it was just like something kind of different to throw in just to try it out. But I think it'd be really interesting. I think in my locals, there is this woman that she plays. I think she was playing Sapphire Amber, and she had Tiana in there, and she was telling me how it's a little annoying for people. So thought it would be interesting to just kind of throw it in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it
really
did
worked
bring you
today.
up to 20 uninkables though. Do you think
Yeah.
maybe we'd cut down on some in the future? I know we could tell while you were playing that you really wanted to draw an inkable off of the storm.
Yeah, I know. And he's like, I'm gonna punish you. I was like,
Yeah.
oh well, I kind of didn't have a choice, like,
I figured.
You're so far behind, you had to start getting greedy with it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it definitely was not the ideal move. I knew I would get punished for it, but I was hoping I would draw into something good.
Yeah.
But it was fun. This is a fun game, and this is my first ever like live stream game ever.
Well,
So it
welcome
was
to
a
the internet.
little. I know, right? I'm like, I don't do the podcast or the interview things or the stuff like that. But I thought I would just play today. I mean, it's a little hard because our team is on the West Coast, so the Pacific time for us is a little difficult, I think, to get everyone in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think this was a great matchup for this to be your first one because you were playing against someone from Love to Lore, and everyone from Love to Lore is very welcoming. So
Yeah, she was really nice to play with, and I thought we were, both of us were very cordial, and we just reminded each other if we needed to. Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
props for keeping up with the lore and the ink totals.
I think I just missed the Judy ink when I was so excited to play that Sisu, and then the next turn I was like, wait, I inked, and I was like, 7? Oops.
It's all good. The only matches I've played, me and the opponent had to remind each other almost every turn. So
I was just excited to slap Sisu on the table.
Yeah.
I got rid of the one, but she had another one. I couldn't do anything. I didn't have a strength. I didn't have storm or anything. But I knew I had to get rid of the Sisu. The second one was nothing I could do about that one.
Yeah, just nothing you can do, especially when you have to win before the late game because you're drawing so many cards for Lynn's with the daisies, double-edged sword.
And all the drops you were playing also happened to have one strength. I was glad you weren't slapping more Smees or like Lawrence. I was like, those could really throw this play off. But when you played a Doc and then another Daisy, I was like, okay, this Sisu's about to clear 4 characters.
I would have loved to have more Lawrence and Smee show up in my hand.
Yeah.
But with so many uninkables, I had to ink some of it, which was unfortunate. But
yeah.
But no, this is a great game.
Linz, can you talk a little bit about Mufasa in the set 6 meta? It's not a deck that has seen a lot of attention or had a lot of really high placements, but I know you're kind of a diehard Mufasa fan.
Oh yeah.
What are your thoughts on Mufasa in the set 6 meta?
I think it's a lot better than people are giving it credit for, but I know I'm the one that always harps on that online. But I've been talking with Humble a lot about it as well in the lab server, and we've kind of just been building it throughout. I fell in love with Raya the second that card was shown, and I'm really, really glad in the first game of this match I got to show the Raya combo. I was worried it was going to get, like, Gaston was going to get blown up before I got to show it, but you can see that I got to drop 2 4-drops on turn 4 is an insane amount of pressure, especially on the play, and like there's just no coming back from it without a board wipe. So
I was so hyped for that. I popped
that
big.
Comment when you tapped 4 and played the Raya, did the ink, and then played the Rapunzel, like just massive value, and I think it's hard for a lot of decks to overcome that.
It's just, and it like, if I hit the Gothel on 2 and she lives, and I hit the Gothel on, or the Gaston on 3 and he lives, and I have, like, me and Humble call it Exodia. If you have Raya, Rapunzel, Gaston, Gothel, all of them stick, you win. You've won the game. There's almost no deck that's coming back from that pressure. It's hard to hit, but I'm glad I got to show Exodia off in at least one match. Yeah.
So, go ahead, Tegan.
Pretty exciting stuff, and pretty fun matchup. I think this was not the easiest matchup for the kind of diggy hole deck into a completely character focused deck. But well done, both of you, and pretty exciting match.
Yeah, I'm just glad to take a break from red purple.
Well, Ed had to take red purple, right? Ruby Amethyst. I mean, no spoilers. You don't have to spoil it, but we already know.
See,
I'm not going to
I
say
was-
anything because I can't, I don't want to give anything away, but
Yeah.
definitely, I think after DLCs, after Continentals, I always feel like I need to just either take a break or just play something completely different. I think in one of the set champs, I just took a red blue deck and everyone's like, what are you doing with red or ruby sapphire? I was like, I don't know. I just want to like play something different. I just leaved it up this morning. It's fine. It's all for fun. Not a big deal.
And yeah, well, they're going to be kicking me off soon. So thank you, everyone. Thanks to the judges. Thanks to both teams. Go follow both teams. Go follow Linz if you want some Mufasa advice. Go follow Tegan if you want to know about Battle of the Bay. All right, if you're on the West Coast, I'm sure there's got to be another one coming because the first one was so successful. I would love to get out there if I could.
We are talking about the next one, of course. Getting a space is the hardest thing, but we do want to do
Ravensburger's finding that out.
Yeah.
But thank you, everyone, so much.
Yeah, thanks for to both the teams, and thanks for having us on as casters. This was super fun.
Oh, it's me. Hello. I know I was a little early, but now I'm on time. So welcome, everyone. I'm Katie from the Lore Keepers Inn, and with me I have Habibi. Now, do you go by Habibi? Because this is my worst part of meeting people. Is I'm like, okay, you have your internet name, and then but let's make sure right off the bat you can introduce yourself, and then I'll go from there.
I go by Elias. Anyone that's seen me online or knows me probably knows me as Habibi.
Perfect. Okay. Because okay. So Elias is this is a cool name.
Elias works.
Okay. Okay. Well, I am very excited. So this is your first time casting on the ICL.
Oh, congrats. One second.
Oh.
Sorry, we're getting like a couple feedbacks. So our next matchup, if we can get the wonderful producers to send us the deck list, would be nice.
Yeah. So yeah, we
all right.
do. Yeah. So let me make sure. All right. Man in the booth, can you hear me correctly? Is this the right way for me to be? Well, I mean, I don't know. Okay. I'm talking to a guy. You can't see him, but I want to make sure everyone can hear me. And it sounds like we're good.
We're all good. We're all good.
So as far as the deck list, so I have taken a look. They are a little interesting. So I don't want to spoil anything, but it's going to be a little bit, some things it's going to look like we've seen before and some things I'm excited about. So we do have, let's see here. Who are the players we have coming up? We have Very Hungry, which is not, this is once again, I'm going back to that's not his government name, but.
Not the government name for sure.
Yes.
Yes. The parents had some fun with that one.
Talking to myself.
Exactly.
Hello.
And then we have Cornell as well.
Hello,
So
Phil.
All right,
Hello,
we've
John.
very
got Chris
excited to
and
see
Veronica
how the
in here
matchup
now.
is. I'm always excited because now we have
I
the
think
plus.
Veronica's
Love to Lore,
down
they
there
took
in the
home a
waiting room.
2-0. So they
There
set
we
the
go.
tone. So now Tianho, they're set up. We learned last night, Tianho is a term that is from Mahjong.
Oh, you can change my,
that means
should I
a
change my
god
name on
hand. So we're going to see if Tianho can
For sure,
pull
for
the
sure.
Tianho.
Tianho.
I
Keep
know.
seven.
Go for it.
Yeah, that's always so
I mean, it's
intimidating when
John's
first
show.
when
He's
your
just very
opponent says,
quiet.
and I'll keep. You're like,
John,
what?
show John. Go for it.
No, I don't like that confidence.
Whenever I do keep seven, it's
Okay,
usually
if the
just 'cause,
players
like,
could join game
I don't
ICL 2
wanna
in
risk
Pixelborn.
Yes,
having
right.
to
I'm
play
like,
land.
this is
followed by the
serviceable.
number 2.
I can see a
That's
path
it.
And one of the
forward.
players
I have a
will need
1,
to
2, and a
stream
3.
to
I'm not gonna
Discord.
get greedy,
me
but
that.
sometimes keep 7 means Diablo shift
my
1, 2, and
display's
start
kinda
your
weird.
one
It's
drop, and
like,
that's not a fun time.
Top, bottom,
Exactly.
not like side to
So,
side.
so Chris is representing.
Yeah, you can,
so very
you
hungry,
can click
Chris.
L2
I'm
on
sorry,
the
I'm calling
left
you very
side.
hungry, Chris. That is your name. He is representing Tianho, and then for the going for 2 wins on the Love to Lore side, we have, and I just clicked away from it. That's Veronica Cornell. So very excited. Yeah, Chris Berry Hungry Louie. So that way I know I'm doing it right. I always feel bad if I call somebody the wrong name. So yeah, I think when we're ready, we'll switch to it. But have you received the deck list? Have you been able to pull it up?
I have. I'm very
Okay.
excited. I feel
I
like they
know.
purposely put me on these rounds because I have a lot of background in both of these deck lists. These are like the two I've been debating between. So I'm excited to watch this gameplay. This might be like a deciding factor for the rest of the season for me.
It's perfect.
There
So
you go.
yeah, no, all right. So we got both our matchup ready. So now I know something I saw in the chat. So now it is whoever wins the first round, the next round that team gets to go first. So that means that Chris will be going first.
Yeah, Chris should have play advantage here, which is very big, very impactful for his deck. I know everyone says that about every single Lorcana deck that exists, but particularly in this matchup, it's very play draw important. So Veronica has her work.
Yeah. It's always that whole, would you rather be the one running or the one being chased? I'd like to be chased. I don't love, but I mean, I want the other person to be completely preoccupied with stopping me.
Mm-hmm.
And we also see Chris has the craft single sleeves made famous by Zach Bibbins. Someone said, your sleeves look like craft singles. And I thought, that's a nice thing to say. I would like that. I wouldn't be upset.
You're hungry now. I gotta know what I'm gonna have later.
Yeah, Chris very hungry with the craft single sleeves. So as far as the decks, I know we can't. It's hard. I always want to keep it because we'll wait.
Well, mulligan of 2 for Veronica.
Okay, so Veronica's feeling good.
And then I think that's 5 for Chris. Honestly, not a huge indication in Lorcana.
But it is,
We also might have gotten the names wrong. Just so sorry if I've been mispronouncing names. I think they're updating it right now on the screen.
Oh, okay. So yeah, they're probably.
Oh, it's Chris there and then
Perfect.
Veronica there. Okay, gotcha.
All right, we're all synced up now. So Chris is feeling very hungry looking at Veronica's sleeves. So they are going to do their little second cut here. And so this is a match where we talk about who wants obviously any aggro deck is going to want to go first. But I don't know if I'd particularly describe either of these decks as aggro, but I think every deck now wants to do something pretty menacing in that first 3 turns. So it's to the point where it's like calling something aggro or not. I'm like,
so we see the purple start.
Okay, good. So now that's and a broom.
I agree with you. I think every deck doesn't want to be called aggro, but every single deck has an aggro start. So yeah, I think it's required in this meta unless you're playing like red blue or purple control or something like that.
But we're starting with the broom, so we know we got purple out there, and then we're seeing an inking of a piglet, which you hate to see him inked. I love seeing him getting requests for 3, but it's going in the inkwell.
Just in the inkwell pass. Oh no, we see the 1-drop Cindy. All right, that's a big tell. We know what's happening next.
So Chris is probably very happy that he's going second now, because having a Cindy going first, because that Cindy singing and destroying that character before you get any value out of it can hurt.
Doesn't feel great. No.
There's
not a lot of great plays here besides just spamming the board with 1-drops. So hopefully we get to see Chris do that.
So he does get some value out of that broom, questing for 1 and getting that 1 card draw, which he did his job, broom. So he's ready to retire.
I'm wondering if Chris has another 1-drop here.
Yeah,
looking like he's questioning what he wants to ink. So maybe the hand's a little clumped up.
It's tricky, especially I have a hard time with bounce decks. Not to spoil too much, but it can be hard because there's so many cards that are so valuable later that can be inkable. Your fox, your snakes are inkable, but I don't want to ink them and under any conditions. So that is sometimes the hardest thing, is knowing what to ink those first few turns.
That's it. And the decisions are very important. I think inking is one of the most important mechanics besides the mulligan and Lorcana. So taking his time to make the right decision here, definitely doesn't want to regret it later on.
Yeah, because it's usually whatever you decide to ink was the card you actually needed. So it's that nice Schrodinger's thing where. But he is going to go ahead.
So we had the second 1-drop. That is by far the best play you can do into, without spoiling it, a Steel Song deck. I mean, you saw the Cindy. There's not a lot of space that can really happen there.
That girl needs to sing.
That's it. So we get the Storm.
And she's probably going to go for the broom, I imagine. Or no, either one is fine in this case because they're not the Diablo that gets the value. So that is one of the reasons I like the Diablos. It does put some pressure on your opponent where you're like, do it. Because you get at least you get
we
a
both
card.
draw equality.
But nope, in this case, she does aim for the Chernobog's follower, draws a card, and now is in the same inking boat.
Okay, so we have a solid definitive ink on the Veronica side. We put down Ursula, one of the best like 1 to 2s that you can possibly have with the Storm. It's we have like Chris on the back foot right now. He has to find a way to interact with that Cinderella. Maybe take it out.
Yeah, and Steel Song can be very, very menacing and very disruptive to these first few turns where, you obviously want to get some points on the board or lore on the board. That's hard to say. I don't like that. But with these 2 singers on the board, it's going to be him just hoping that either she doesn't have songs or he keeps going.
So we've only seen purple so far from
it's
Chris.
True.
So
But
I guess we're only going to know it's purple.
Or no, that's a fox.
Classic fox swinging in. This is a little scary because Veronica may just have another storms that fox, and then like again Chris just stuck at the back foot, but you got to take the plays that you get. A crab there would have been way better, but I guess doesn't have one.
And even in this case, having a strength, I mean, all she needs to do is slap down one character and then strength is still enough. So there's a lot of vulnerabilities here.
Although we do know, coming from a Steel Song background myself, it is very plausible to brick with this deck or any Steel Song deck. So,
yes.
Oh, that doesn't look like a brick card.
No, that is. Which that does show that Veronica is not playing the more aggressive, less songy type of Steel Song. This is, once I see Ariel, I'm like, that is Steel Song. I feel like that's a clinical definition.
It seems like an aggressive Steel Song with the piglets that we've seen 2 go to the Inkwell. I think Veronica is realizing really quickly that it's not the card she wants to be playing this matchup. The Zeus comes out.
Yeah.
Now that could be a tell that that was the only piece of removal in her hand. It could also just be she has 2 Zeuses and she's trying to play it off like she has no more removal left.
I know sometimes it feels bad to play that Zeus, and when you only need to do 2 damage, you're like, well, 5 kind of feels like overkill. But in this case, she's happy to slow down Chris.
There you go. All right. Chris slams a Pete, so we see the other color. It is steel. Possibly the best thing to do after an aerial. Just slam that Pete, lock down any songs. No more songs for Veronica.
Yeah, please take a moment. Stop singing.
I sure hope he announced it. Otherwise, the judge.
I know I played against Traverse Tavern. He would go, wait. And now I hear that in my head every time Pete goes down is wait.
There you go. Oh, a queen. So a little bit of a older style Steel Song build. This has been quite popular in the past and sort of lost popularity at the beginning of the set, but picked it up again. Your Panda Omega's run with Steel Song. Oh,
I do find that I don't love that. Anytime you see 1 Daisy, you're like, okay, 2, you're like, I get it. And that's not probably what Chris wants to see. But I do like the Queen Shift package in this Ruby Sapphire meta because it can just be so nice to be like, I don't care what you're up to. I'm wheeling. I know I'm so scared what you have. And so it can be a very nice disruptive play.
That's a little bit scary for Chris here. Blowing the double Daisy. If there is a wheel in Veronica's hand, he's going to be at the back foot for quite some time. So he has to find a way to, that's a go. He has to find a way to kill that Singer 5 here. Might have it. There it is, the strength. We're targeting the aerial. And that puts him he's now ahead on the board. That was a great play.
Yeah, and Daisy, I mean, she's menacing, especially 2 of them, but that is also potential card draw for Chris, which, maybe 1 turn of getting some extra cards isn't the worst thing to happen to him. Now, 5 lore is not great either, but it's still a survivable position to be in.
That's it. The purple steel players don't run a ton of removal. It's usually just the strength, maybe a Zeus or 2.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a great line into this deck. Oh, a miss from the aerial. You hate to see it.
You do.
She didn't seem too happy about that one.
No, it feels like it shouldn't be allowed. But now he's going to go for 2. He's going to first one, and he gets a Diablo, which that's ink. I'll take it. And then,
he hit a string.
Yeah.
Not a lot of hits, but Veronica hit it. So
The odds were not great, but he got one Diablo, which that is something. Not great, but it is an inkable card. So I guess
There you go.
But seeing that strength go probably feels bad because he's about to have 4 characters out, which would be a great time for strength on Daisy.
That strength would have been amazing to top deck for Chris to kill that Ariel. So hopefully there's another answer here. We see the crab come out.
Yeah.
I think we're trying to like mitigate how much lore is being gained by Veronica. I like the keeping the Ursula up, not getting too overly aggressive, trying to keep like a flying hope to top deck a good song here. We're gonna draw after he plays a Smee. This is a very menacing board because even if Veronica wheels here, she's looking down the throat of a Merlin, the jaws of a Pete. We got like a rabbit there. It doesn't look too exciting.
Exactly. And knowing it's a bounce deck, I mean, any of those cards on the board can be played again if Chris has the right card, so that Pete can become a repeat, as I don't think people call it that, but maybe they should.
That's it. Not a rabbit, a genie. Just to clarify.
All right, so just going to quest with that genie, which is evasive. Might as well get that 2 lore there and pass. And he didn't play anything, right? No, he did. Okay, he's just doing cool hand shuffling things. I was like, okay, I thought he played.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I know he played Smee.
I think it was the crab and the Smee this turn for this 5 ink. So we have Ursula singing Zeus. So there was a second Zeus, unless he just top, or unless Cornell just top decked it.
It's good he got the value then out of that genie because he was not long for this world. And then
Questing with Daisy. This is the moment of truth. A Tinkerbell. That's a big tell. We got a Tink Shift deck list here.
Exactly. Yeah, and that Tinkerbell, I sometimes forget. I'm like, yeah, it's just the mini stylish server, but no, that is a shift target. And she goes.
She rips the wheel.
It's time.
This is it. This is not a great board state though. We need ways to clear the board, especially against the purple matchups. So still at the back foot, we refilled the hands, but we need to queen 1 drop.
Okay.
We need to find a way to present a threat for all those bodies, because basically all of Veronica's exerted characters will be dead by the end of next turn shortly.
Oh, so you hate to hear it.
Hate to hear it. Hate to see it.
They don't die. They just get banished.
Katie, who do you think is going to win this match based off of this board state?
I mean, my thing is I know that Chris has the shenanigans on his side, and I know he has the ability to bounce around. But Veronica, it kind of just depends what he plays this turn. Because I mean, if he doesn't go aggressive and lean in, get rid of the Ariel, get rid of the Daisy, then suddenly Veronica feels probably a lot better. But I'm also would be surprised if that queen shifts next turn. So
that queen shift does present a pretty serious threat, especially if it's not removed. It's just pay 2, have another Singer 5 on board, and like you're not really committing much ink. So there could be a queen shift, a Smee, another Ursula. A lot of things can be played by Veronica. So the game is up in arms. Ooh.
Yeah, but he is working. I mean, he just did a bounce on the Pete, which puts that back in his hand, which he might play it again to say.
Almost surely we'll be playing it again. Go to 6 ink, and there it is. Yeah, basically telling Veronica, you're never going to play a song again.
Yeah. My goodness. So yeah, and I'm wondering here if he's going to swing at that Daisy or Ursula. I mean, I would imagine he'd want to get to that Daisy. Right?
I think he'll probably go for Ursula. I mean, I don't hate to disagree with you here, but we'll see. Oh, Daisy, you're right.
Well, he can't swing next turn. So I guess that's my thing is he knows that maybe that Ursula's not so scary right now, knowing that Pete's on the board. But either way, he's going to swing anyway. He's
swinging it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Why pick in this economy? When
we're both right.
Yeah. He said, I don't want to pick. I don't have to.
That's it.
So now, after your question, I think Chris is looking pretty good.
So, come on.
He did, yeah, right. He did everything he needed to do, and he looks great now. He did everything.
Veronica's empty board. All right, now I go with Chris.
Chris looks good.
It's like the people at the football stadiums with like that take off their jerseys and switch whenever the team starts winning.
Why commit to anything when I'm in the booth that I could become omniscient?
You can just wait until the thing happens and then call it. Oh,
Oh,
there's a queen shift. We expected that.
yeah, and it's so funny because I used to love having Robin and Tinkerbell and Queen because it used to be you have to be like, all right, who are you going to come after? Who am I going to shift? In this case,
Yeah.
there's not many shift targets anymore, but the Queen does kind of do that where it's kind of Chekhov's Queen. If you don't target her, she will shift next turn.
Yeah,
But other than
because
that,
it's basically guaranteed free value. However, there's not a lot of free value to be made here because if she does quest plus minus something, swing this me in, it's dead next turn, and you basically traded one thing on the board.
yeah, and
Can't sing any songs,
no.
so we are gonna be questing here, giving the plus to this me.
All right, so now he
Minus.
is
It's hard to
7.
do from the booth when we don't hear them, but oh, there you go. It's
Take out the fox.
swinging there. All right, no damage taken on this me, so
Yeah.
it's a good trade. And we're still progressing the board. I think Veronica's game plan is kind of aggressive, so
Now Speedy will still, unless she secretly has a captain somewhere, take 1 at the end of the turn, but maybe that'll start feeding her card draw plan.
oh, we saw strength come out, but I think, we forgot about the Pete. A little bit of a tell now in the hand.
I know, which, I'm sure that's
So the judge corrected it very quickly.
yes. All right. So will this queen survive to the next turn? I would imagine not, but so
I don't think
wow.
anything on that board is gonna live.
Yeah,
I'll be
that
honest
also
with you.
comes in.
Chris is going to have a field day with this board state. We're buffing up our Elsa. Elsa will kill
That's me.
whatever she wants,
Oh, yeah, that's
probably
true.
the Ursula.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then
Banish, banish. We don't say kill. Kill is
it's
a bad word.
temporary. They're just being banished. And honestly, banishing's not permanent anymore. So, but just like that, Elsa and her friends, Crab, work together to say, let me just clear that board for you. Let me make some space. And then we put out a Calhoun, which is kind of a fun thing to have here to put some pressure on whatever Veronica puts out next.
Yeah, we don't know if there's Lilos or in this deck, but I like to say Lilos becomes Calhoun food in the matchups where she gets pitched to the discard.
I do feel bad for Lilo that she is canonically the sacrificial lamb, that she's always being put out there to be like, please don't hurt her. And she is usually
board wipe and kill.
Yeah.
She's like basically a control card. She just eats removal and eats swings from characters. Doesn't really quest very often. Oh, Veronica's sick of not being able to play songs. She's like, you're not playing songs either.
He's like, well, that's not the worst thing. But now we do see also Veronica's running World's Greatest Criminal Mind, which I've seen come back. I'm imagining knowing that, the Maleficents, the Tamatoas, the big beefy characters of the world. But Very Hungry Chris is not running too many, if any. I don't think any targets for World's Greatest Criminal Mind.
Yeah. There's not any targets. However, there's a weird interaction you can do with Queen Shift where you just quest and buff up something on their board instead of buffing your own character.
Yeah, I guess I forgot about that you can say, guess what? You're giant and now you're banished. But in this case,
there's no Queen Shift in sight. So I was going right into the Inkwell.
Exactly. Now we get a rabbit. So yeah, Chris is feeling very good. Drawing cards, turning things sideways. Yeah, you can see, is he so confident that he's going to quest the Calhoun? No, he shall wait.
No. Although I don't even think that mistake would set him too far behind in this board set.
No. Well, we know that Veronica might have a few songs up her sleeves now. She's out of singers. She has a Pete.
Oh, we're pitching a song.
Which probably doesn't feel good. But
a raw cast whole new world. Oof.
That is hard. That never feels good. Especially because
pitching away two of her best songs being strength to interact with this board. Now, the only way a Steel Song player can kill a Calhoun is that strength or Zeus. And we've kind of lost 2 Zeuses earlier, if you remember. And we've lost a lot of strengths already. So it's going to be unkillable unless she exerts it.
Now, these are 2 fun cards. I mean, they're 2 cards that could be more problematic. We definitely...
banishable.
Just
I
so you
keep
know, we
getting
have
corrected by God telling
Yeah.
me to not use the bad word.
our conscience, you know,
Our
Jimmy
conscience. My
Cricket in the
conscience
booth.
told me that it's Spanish.
Yes.
It's like in Disney, nothing dies. Everything lives and has happily
Yeah.
ever after.
He's just it's hanging out over in the break room.
That's it.
So yeah, Chris is sitting there going, you know, what do I want to do? Feeling
The world's Chris's oyster with a full hand and that kind of board.
especially that Elsa can do some bouncing and feed Calhoun as well. So that's something I'm wondering if he has a snake or a fox to let that Elsa come back and perhaps.
You gotta like have a little bit of sympathy for Veronica. Like the hand that was wheeled into was into 2 wheels.
Yeah.
And 2 strength with nothing on board to
A
sing him. So
replenishing.
very, very punishing, especially with the repeats.
Did he listen to me? He says, you know what? I like that idea. I think I will.
Hey, are you offering coaching, Katie?
Yeah, right. What you
What's
gotta
the
do is
metafy?
you gotta bounce. That's my hot tip. What you want to do
That's
is
it.
get that card back and then do it again.
I found it funny when like they played a purple card. You're like, oh, I don't want to spoil it, but there's bounce. So, like, when is
right.
purple not bounce? Right?
I'm the non-bouncing amethyst. I don't like card draw and I don't like bouncing. And yes, she's going to
Calhoun
say
food it is. Oh, Katie, whose side are you on?
well,
Just giving him tips.
I'm very excited to see Calhoun get to do stuff. Sometimes Calhoun doesn't get to do, she just menaces. And this time she actually with the Elsa
There's
punch.
a lot of board states where just like a Calhoun sitting down on the board upright and you're just staring at your opponent like not doing anything because everyone's scared to quest. So Calhoun just I love it when Calhoun came out and was like, oh, the game state's gonna get faster. And I'm just like, oh no, we're just gonna stare at each other's boards until 7.
Exactly. It's a Patrick meme. She's just sitting there menacingly.
Just sitting there menacingly.
So now Rabbit. Now it's at the point where he's like, do I want to quest? What do I do? And that's always, it's not fun to sit across because you're like, I get you have so many choices and I don't have that many. But he will go ahead and quest with the rabbit and the genie. So let's see if we're at Lorthal yet. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But technically that Calhoun could be 7. And so she does have to get rid of something here.
I think surely we're going to see a shift queen here. I just don't know if there's enough answers left in Veronica's deck, especially looking at that genie. We have to find a way to banish the genie. And we only have like maximum, assuming there's 4 of each, 2 Zeuses left in the deck. I believe 1 strength.
Yeah. And I mean, Steel Song is not a very evasive friendly deck as far as, I mean, obviously the removal songs are going to be its saving grace, but their characters are very earthbound. They are not.
Yep.
Oh, but he's 1 last Zeus. Okay.
That's 3 Zeuses. We got 2 answers left in the deck. Ariel, that is going to miss. I'm going to make a prediction.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. What songs do you have left?
Oh,
no. Well, wheel.
Well,
wow.
Basically a miss.
Yeah, my goodness. Yeah, that's always.
We can shift queen and wheel here, but I just don't see where that wheel is going to benefit us here.
And she does
we
go
have
ahead
to
and
answer that board.
Oh, wow. And she passes. So that's.
There's nothing to play in that hand, I guess.
Which, if he has anything to bounce that Elsa again. Oh, goodness.
Zeus. Enchanted, too. Jeez, Chris.
A double her. A holographic.
Flex on us. My bad. It does an extra damage.
Now, did he throw down a goat just now? Or no, I can't. It's in the dark.
Yeah, it's like a.
Yeah, it was a goat. So yeah, he put on extreme pressure there. He even quested with the Calhoun.
What's up?
And then giant tank, just to really luxuriate.
Enchanted giant tank.
Yeah, he's luxuriating on this moment of
luxurious win here.
It deals 1.
2.5 damage. 1.5 damage, actually. I think the enchanters get half the damage more.
That's a good point. Yeah. It deals a holographic dice damage across.
Exactly.
So
actually, it should be 1 and 3/4, so that it doesn't actually ever affect the game state.
Now we do know that we talked at the beginning that Veronica going second was obviously, Cinderella loves going first and getting a chance to just be a menace to society. I'm sure that's canonical. So Cinderella loves being a menace to society. So now Veronica gets that chance. So I'm sure, really hoping for that Cinderella and to kind of replay this, but with momentum in her favor.
I think that if that hand was Veronica's starting hand, like if she had that same starting hand this game where she's going first, it would have been pretty much an auto win. Well, not auto win. No, you don't want to say auto win.
Yeah, right.
But it would have been
Guaranteed
very
win.
favored. Very favored. Cinderella going first feels amazing. Going second is just a lot less good, to say the least.
Now, I did joke today. I was like, Team Tianho is going to be wearing their cool jackets. And they are. And that's really dedication because they're indoors. And sometimes those jackets, when you wear it outside, it's a rough thing.
Their jackets are cool, man.
Very cool.
I got to talk to my team and let them know, like, they got to pick up the game here. Like, what is going on?
Well, I found out. I mean, I asked them last night and they're like, oh, yeah, one of our friends is like, can do this. And I'm like, so their aura is off the charts. But Veronica, she's coming. She's not intimidated by a jacket. She's here. Yeah. She's inking. Or no, she's not.
Those stripes mean nothing to
I thought
Veronica.
She was inking. I was like, wow, she won't stop inking. But no.
Was she playing blue?
I'm not familiar with this. So the good news is now Veronica's seen through Chris's deck. She's kind of seen a lot of the tricks of Amethyst Steel and what he's running. So now she can mulligan knowing exactly what he's up to. But looking at the deck list, do you think there's anything that Chris didn't do last turn as an Amethyst practitioner that you're like, there's more surprises? I feel like he pulled out a lot of his flashy.
He pulled out a lot of the stuff. Like I think the big tells between what kind of deck the Amethyst Steel player is playing is if they play multiple rabbits.
Exactly. Yeah.
It just basically just tells you, okay, they're probably running Zeus. No one really generally runs Zeus as well as without running rabbits and genies. So the second we saw that rabbit, we're like, okay, now there's 8 total removal cards that Chris has access to. I think Chris's game plan is always going to be slamming Pete's, bouncing, replaying them, and then killing the Singer 5s on Veronica's board. Oh, we're inking looks like a DLC one. DLC and Big Cindy.
And we're seeing, yeah, and that's what I was going to say is the Big Cindy's one that was a surprise that he didn't get, or Veronica didn't get to play. But Veronica also has a few cards that she has not shown yet that could be a little surprising to Chris.
They could be impactful for sure. That Big Cindy is not amazing into purple. It's actually quite easy to trade for them.
Yeah, especially with a crab around.
Crab, fox. It doesn't, unless you shift it and you get the value right away. It's very rarely a good card. Also, if it's in the starting hand, I don't think Veronica is looking 5 turns, 6 turns down the line.
I don't have time for that right now. It's like Dragon.
Let's focus on now, right?
Now, is he going to shift and do some mischief? She's gonna shift. Okay. And is it a whole new world shift or just a song? Oh, yeah.
A turn 2 wheel. We have not seen that in a long time. Now, whether that's a good play or not is another story, but there's no removal in the hand. Just
it's a chaotic thing to do.
It is very chaotic. The only issue I have with that play is Chris is running a deck that's very low to the ground. There's almost surely nothing that can brick a purple deck. Into a blue-red deck, though, that would have been amazing.
Exactly. I love to destabilize a control deck. Now this, though, I mean, but Veronica's also happy in the sense that she has a lot of variability in the first few turns. So maybe Veronica is equally confident.
I think Veronica is trying to dodge the fact that, like, if she waits a turn, her turn 2 wasn't going to look so great anyways. So might as well wheel it away and then figure out where she can go from there.
Yeah. And if you can't get out that Cinderella, then the Queen shift is a nice way to, bring some momentum, especially because she knows that Diablo's not coming for the Queen, because that's something that's going to be so hard about the Queen is letting her survive that next turn.
Back when he used to run Rafiki, he used to be like, no, I can't wheel anymore. I got to kill this thing. And then they play a Smee. I'm like, oh, okay, now I got to kill a Smee.
Exactly. But Diablo's just menacing, flying around. She's not scared.
Yeah, like I think Chris was probably on Larcana After Dark, and he just kept kept it pretty dark. Oh, there you go. I think he heard us. He just gave us a light.
Larcana Before Dark. All right, so
that's much better. We can see the board states now.
I like the mysterious aspect of it, where I'm like, it could be anything. You don't know what they're up to. But in this case, paying 2, for an Ursula and a Daisy.
Daisy does not feel great into this deck. I mean, we now know there's 8 total hits in the deck, so a little bit better altogether, but we're gonna sing a song. Maybe a strength, probably shooting this me. The only sad part about this situation is we almost surely know that Diablo is going to be bounced back to hand and swinging into the queen. Or even better, a crab will be amazing here.
Oh, I do like when the crab makes the beefy bird.
Yeah, the beefy bird just kills everything. It's
Yeah,
like,
like,
and
no
draws
one
you a card.
No one expects. I have had to fly my Diablo as a sacrificial lamb to draw a card. That never feels good. When you're like, I'm going to blow up my Diablo into your character so I can draw a card.
It's one of his best uses. It's like
Yeah.
Lilo. Like their whole purpose is to be murdered. I mean, banished.
Yes. We would never. We would only banish here.
That's
All
it.
right.
That's it.
So Chris is having that moment of, okay, what is my plan here? And he is going to go ahead and ink one of those Tinkerbells.
Okay.
An Inkerbell, if you will.
I'm surprised not going for that play at any point. Oh, there it
Well,
is.
he might not have it because he was thinking pretty hard there. So maybe his plan A.
Inkson played one. Okay. That's pretty bad because that means that Queen is gonna live another turn. It's gonna see another day. And if we can chain wheels with Steel Song, it's not a great feeling. What are we doing with that?
Like, I don't know. I'm scared. All right. So he's like, you know what? I'll just get one lore. And I sometimes like that because I mean, it kind of makes you go, because sometimes I've had Diablos live longer than they possibly should because they're like, whatever, it's just a little guy and I don't want to give you a card. And then you're like, okay, I guess I'll just keep questing with this little baby bird.
I think Veronica surely kills that Diablo, but I think the goal of this, trying to get into the mind of the player, Chris, is to get things exerted on Veronica's board so that Tink Shift looks a little bit more threatening.
Well, see, Veronica has a lot of friends in the chat. A lot of people are like, go, Veronica. Oh, man, the potential to sing 3 songs this turn is truly menacing with the Naveed. And that was that card that I was referring to. He hasn't seen it yet, but
we haven't seen it, but that's the card that we kind of needed last game for Veronica. So I'm sure it feels great to have access to it now.
He gets a broom, which is
not the craziest hit, but hey, it's getting closer to the better cards in his deck.
Yeah, I'm sure he's very hoping to get some kind of a Pete would be fantastic. Stop this singing.
I mean, this is kind of what Steel Song does, right? It's either it has a very hard time winning or just dominates you and curbs you out of the water.
Yes.
So,
yeah, and just
we're seeing both sides of this spectrum in this match right now.
Yeah, they can get. I mean, right now the amount of value they can get just with the 4 characters they have on board is truly insane. The amount of things they can do.
It's a very strong board save for Veronica. The Pete is a nice start for Chris. Yep. Wait.
And why not just get out a little guy? Invest in the future. Some card draw with the Turnabox Follower.
Love to see it.
Now,
all right, Katie. Who do you think is going to win this match?
Well, I mean, knowing that Veronica has sing this turn, but also knowing that not a lot of heavy hitters on Chris's side. So I feel the momentum's in Veronica's court this time. So I'm sticking with it because she's reverse waiting, which
I want to be like the underdog and cheer for Chris in this match, but I think we're going to game 3 almost surely.
Yeah, it's some
heavy board states.
Heavy odds against Chris right now. It's not impossible because I mean Veronica did go ahead and quest. Did Chris get a hit off of the Daisy?
He got the Elsa earlier.
Oh, okay. I missed that part. Okay. So she's like, you know what? I don't care. I'll just quest. I don't need to sing. I'll just get to 11 and see what you're going to do with your Turnerbox Follower and a Pete. It's crazy how that Queen, I mean, the set where Queen was playable, like people were playing her, she never lived this long. So it's just kind of crazy seeing the Queen.
Lived? What do you mean by lived? You mean
yes, the opposite of living is banishing.
Yes.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and double dive into that Naveen.
That does not feel good. I mean, that says a lot about Chris's hand not having crabs because we can't make efficient trades here. We are gonna kill the Queen. Hey, this is stabilizing. I mean,
yeah, our conscience has really been speaking to us a lot about how never say die or kill. Goodies and ICL.
I gotta do PR training after this.
Yeah, right. Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a little air horn that only you can hear, and it'll be like a shock collar, but for your ears.
Immediately, yeah, exactly.
Immediately. Yeah, even in your day-to-day life, you'll be like, "Oh yeah, I heard he was banished." You're like, "What?" And you're like, "I'm sorry."
Honestly, coming from like Magic the Gathering and other games, it's very different. Lorcana is clean, nice and clean.
Yeah, this is a happy time. We are all just glimmers.
We're all princesses having fun in this wonderful Disney world.
My favorite is I was playing against somebody that didn't realize that hero was a card type, and they're like, "We're all heroes." I'm like, "No, no, they're not all heroes." And yeah, they're very sad because they were just convinced that Smee's a hero, Pete's a hero, and I like their thought, but no, unfortunately, some words do matter. Oh man, Chris is not feeling good. What is that one card that's gonna save this entire game? And that's the sound of. In case you guys don't know, that was my sound of. I don't know if this is enough to save, but the Elsa's probably coming in here for.
Is that one card in Veronica's hand?
One craft single. It does appear to be
one craft single. That's only one craft single. Like this.
So he could. I mean, he's allowed to pump the brakes, but he has to pump the brakes for many turns in a row. Like,
thing is, Chris has a lot of bounce, and they have Elsa. So like, killing an unexerted card isn't out of the ordinary.
JDZ Quest brought up a great point. This is one Bell. Accomplished Mystic is so beautiful, but we do not have that. So instead,
another Elsa. That's close to just as good.
It is. But like I said, I mean, Chris can slow things down, but he has to slow things down turn after turn after turn here because he's 2-17.
Yeah, 19 is.
It's a tough one. That's
it's gonna be an upwards battle, but I've seen crazier things happen.
His brakes light on fire. He's braking so hard.
There's only one card in hand. I wonder what that card is because we just played a Cindy 1-drop and passed.
Oof, I don't know. Makes
probably a wheel.
Yeah,
I feel like we would have jammed the wheel even if.
That's true because. Oh, so yeah, he's an item. Or it went to 0, but I don't know.
I feel like they're listening to us. We gotta wait a second before each turn. Or is that a scoop?
It was, yeah. They both went to 0. Now we never got to see what Veronica's mysterious card was. So unfortunately, I'm gonna assume it was most powerful and least powerful card at the same time.
There you go. Game 3 hype. Game 3 hype for sure.
You love it, but yeah. So
23 minutes. That's not a short time.
Now I will ask the man in the booth. So if we get to time, do they have the 5 turn, or is it this hard stop at 5 at 1? Okay, so there's a 5 turn clock. And does someone have to win at the end of those 5 turns? It can be a draw. So yeah. So they're both card decks can go fast. Both these decks can go lightning fast. So knowing that this could be over in a blink of an eye, or we.
The thing is, what this matchup really looks like is both players trying to stall each other out for as long as possible, and then one person just has an explosive turn. We saw that with Chris in game 1, where they just played a Pete, and then they just shot. Is that allowed? Vanished the Ariel. Yeah. And then we saw that with Veronica this game with the early wheel, and then just removing everything Chris played for every single turn. So I think this can go really long if they have the right pieces. Like Kaloon just stalls out a board state. Speed stalls out a board state. So we want to see less of those cards in this 20-minute match, just to make sure we don't go to time. No one likes a draw.
I know.
Yeah. We know that from DLCs.
I'm like, what? A draw. But no, it's not gonna happen because they're both here to either Chris is going to put Tian on the board, or Veronica's gonna just really make love to lore the dominant team here. So I'm excited. I'm scared. Yeah.
Both very good people. Yes, very fun teams. It's like hard to like root against one of them. I don't have any horses.
Actually, I want to draw. I changed my mind. I hope you guys. No one wins. Never mind. No, I don't.
I want Veronica to win, so the game 3 is more intense, and JDZ can give us a show.
I know. Yeah, I love a plot. That's my thing. Is I love the plot of it. Now the good news is in the Illuminator Champion League, even if it goes to, even if Love to Lore takes this, Tian still wants to get that point because it's every point matters here. So that's the good news is even if it looks like all hope is lost, we have the round 3 coming, and then John Cena. It's going to be a whole thing.
Yep.
All right. So they have got their hands, and this is really going to be their opening hand is really going to do a lot of the heavy lifting on how this game's going to go. They're fist bumping. We've been fist bumped. Let's go. Inkin, Mysterious, or Elsa. Ooh. All right. Elsa's done a lot of work this game, but Elsa was unfortunately inked, and a Diablo's on the board. Which Diablo's a great play here in the sense that Cinderella is not super eager to get rid of that Diablo.
Yeah. Well, you see the queen start and the Smee inked, so we might have a queen shift incoming based off of that ink choice.
Yeah. Now,
Calhoun. Ooh.
yeah, and Calhoun eats queen shifts for breakfast, but now the queen shift could.
I mean, it could shift to Zeus to Calhoun. That's probably, or actually is the only way to kill that Calhoun. Or we can just
Or
we can stall
banish.
out the board. Or banish, yeah. We don't do the other thing I said.
It's the good news is like it's kind of fun now, right? So now it's like it's the bit. So if you get it wrong, it's like, well, it's a bit.
That's it. I'm just doing it to make sure you're on your feet so you can correct me.
This is what I'm here for. This is why they hired me, is that I'm very good at correcting.
Like you gotta keep Habibi in line. Keep him PG 12.
Oh, so he is gonna
shift.
Veronica's full shift, and what is that magical song that the queen is about to sing to us?
It could just be sit tight and not do anything.
Wow. That's an interesting one because we know that Calhoun's coming for well, I'm pretty sure.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. The second wheel on the second
Lawrence in
turn.
hand there. Could have been like a Lawrence on turn 3 before that, so we can trade back. But hey, we're gonna let.
Now, would you consider that if you were in Chris's shoes, would you think that was wheelie scary?
I would not consider that wheelie scary.
No, I think
I'd be very happy.
Yeah, because
I was in Chris's shoes.
So he's gonna get 2 lower, get rid of that pesky queen. Last time we saw that queen stay around for almost the entire game. I think the entire game.
That's what Queen usually does in these matchups. It just sits there and just makes all the math difficult.
Yeah, right. Because you're like, oh god, everything is infinitely high and low at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah.
In this case, that was the first thing Chris did. It said, "Get out!" And now he's gonna figure out what he's gonna do. He inked a Mysterious card and then played a Chernobog and another Calhoun. Put more gas in that Calhoun tank.
Damn. I don't think Veronica is too excited about that second Calhoun.
No, I mean, we do know that, she doesn't have a singer now. She's got 3 ink, so it's rough. She can't really do a lot of menacing. She could hard cast a strength. That would be really rough. Instead, she's going to refill her board.
2 1-drops. The Daisies are not great in this matchup. We haven't been able to get good Rapunzel value from Veronica either, so maybe Chris sleeps on the job, quests the Calhoun, and we start seeing some Rapunzel value here. We need a big swing for Veronica. Naveen is a card that we have saw that helps us regain tempo.
Now he did go ahead and put a goat, which, you can never say no to a goat.
Goat.
And now the big thing is
Chris's screen's getting a little dark here.
But the good news is I'm locked in. So is that Chernobog? Is he going to quest and draw a card, or will he let that Chernobog just be value on the? I would probably draw a card. I think that's I would think it's a Chernobog spoiler. I'm 90%.
Yeah, there's no threat of a wheel unless it's a Naveen wheel, and that's not great for Veronica. So,
and we know that
we're definitely going to see the Chernobog do something.
Yeah, but what? We don't know yet. Yeah. Chris is confirmed Batman. He is darkness.
He is one with the darkness.
I was raised in the darkness. To be fair, sometimes my husband will come home and I work from home, so the lights will go down and he comes home. He's like, "Why are you sitting in complete darkness?" And I'm like, "I don't know. It wasn't dark when it started."
I mean, if you dim the lights really, really dark, you can't tell what the card is. It could be whatever you want.
So he didn't do anything with that Chernobog. He said, "I'm scared." He's like, "It's dark, dude. I don't know what to do."
I don't think he saw his Chernobog.
But he's got that Chernobog still out there. We got a Calhoun and a goat for those at home. And I'm 90% sure I'm right.
I really hope Chris wins this so we can buy him a candle.
Whoa!
Whoa! And there was lights.
Wow.
And
We
then there was
bullied we
lights.
bullied him into turning, or my husband came home and said,
That's
"Hey,
it.
why are you sitting in the dark?" That he hasn't gotten home yet, so maybe he's at Chris's house.
That was the most hype moment of this match. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie to you.
Let there be light. And see Veronica, she's like, I am so scared. It's like a flashbang.
I think
can't see
Veronica
anything.
is now like gathering what is on that board truly for the first time and is terrified.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't
would
know.
be too.
I thought those were just ink tokens. So, all right. So, all jokes aside, he passed, and it's Veronica's turn. I forgot. Veronica's staring down the barrel of pretty menacing board.
We have 3. We play a Lawrence, a great card for this board state, and a
Yeah.
queen.
So setting
We-
up Chris to make some
Ooh.
choices.
We might have a little tell what's in the hand with the queen, big queen going to the inkwell and the
The
little one
snake,
going
oof.
on board. There might be another one. That means there's 3 queens that have already big queens that have died.
Yeah. Now, sometimes I'll put down a queen because it costs 1 and I feel like I'm bluffing. I'm like, what are you going to do? And so I've used a queen as like just insurance to be like, you don't know what my next move is. But really, I'm just scared and I'm using it to try to prevent you from targeting my Ariel or my, in this case, Cinderella. But Veronica, quest for 2, gives him a smee and passes and goes, oh,
About 16 minutes left on the clock. This is, as Vonderworld said, it's a Luke. It's a lot of time, but it also feels like no time. No one's really gaining lore here. So,
And that goat said, get out of here, Daisy. You've had your fun, but you've been trampled by the goat.
Wonderworld is telling me his name is truly Wonderland. So,
and that you also
breaking news. Only
Eliza's
here the
feed goes
ICL.
black, and it's like actually he is no longer with the ICL. He is misnamed Luke, and that is actually the only thing we can't do.
There you go.
Yeah, it's Mr. Wonder Worldwide.
It's a sequel.
Now he did lay down a Pete, which, as we know, Veronica could be shifting. She could be singing, and now she's not doing. She can still shift, but she's not going to be shift singing. Not with that Pete out there. Now we do know that Veronica is probably very eager to use that Lawrence to possibly draw some cards for Rapunzel. So we do see that Chris is being a little cautious about what he exerts because he does not want to feed any kind of Rapunzel engine.
Yeah. Although the way this board is currently going, there's a couple things Chris can do to draw prior to making a decision.
So you got that free Smee. That Smee that was a gift from Daisy.
Yep.
And then he's like, you know what? You're not going to get any damage off that bird. So I might as well quest there.
Chris wants to keep that Chernabog up and healthy.
Which, because I mean, that Chernabog hits for 2. So, I mean, if he's playing that game where he's afraid of getting any value, I think it makes some sense.
I mean, it's the right play. The most menacing thing for a Steel Song player to do is to like look down the barrel of a lot of things on the board without having a sweep, and just assuming swords and Big Tink doesn't exist. Like, there's no reason to be worried about your Chernabog, and the threat of those cards aren't really there unless
they are. Shift. Someone played a sword against me 2 days ago. I was like, where did you get that? I thought we all agreed we were done playing that card.
I thought that at the beginning of the set, everyone was like, no one's going to play swords or
Yeah.
Tinkerbell unless your name's Habibi and you run 1 tank. That's it.
Yeah, and you see it. You're like, hey, you're not allowed to do that. He's like, I got 3. I was like, oh, boy.
That's it.
All right, so we are
There's
shifting.
a queen shift. We expected that one.
Yeah, so right now we only have 2 targets exerted. The goat would annihilate. Is that? That's not right. Banish any character.
Annihilate?
Yeah, annihilate. Come on, that sounds. Annihilate means, bring into nihil. It's, it's a Latin word. It's fine. Either way.
There you go.
It's tricky. I mean, if the goal is to get damage, not easy to do right now.
This is a very tricky board state.
Now the queen pumps up for 4, correct, or 3?
Pumps up for 4. And
Okay,
then
so
minuses for 4.
That's a problem because 4 is too much. If Diablo is 4, that's too much.
You can only minus an opposing character, which is actually relevant for some situations.
Yeah. To the chat, annihilate. Yeah, you can say that. I don't know. I have hearts on my sweater. You can't be mad.
Annihilate, not banish. Got it.
It's a new term. You know how in Magic you're like sometimes you get put in the discard and sometimes you get super discarded, put under your playmat. It's never coming back. I'm like, my goodness.
Magic the Gathering, annihilate is a term. It's
all right. We got
not a fun one you want to see.
3 cards in hand here, or 4, 3 cards.
How many craft singles? Annihilator.
My goodness.
It's kind of annihilator. All fun Magic terms. Magic the Gathering. It's a great game.
But we're not playing that. This is
ICL. Playing Lorcana.
Fun fact about the ICL.
Now, we don't play Magic in the ICL.
No, but we do have magical interactions like this one, where we have this extremely wide board that Chris has, where honestly, my goodness. So
we talked about it before, where 16 minutes felt like a long time, but we've made like 0 actual game progress.
Well, and it makes sense because they're both against things where they don't want to feed the other person. Chris doesn't want to feed Veronica's characters to give them card draw or any kind of advantage. And meanwhile, Veronica's trying to play conservative too, because Chris could misread the cue and Chris could misread what she's trying to do. And ultimately I don't know. So they both seem to be very scared about what the other person could do, which is fair because they're both playing steel and there's lots of mischief. Now, is he going to bounce that P? No, because he didn't quest. So nope, it's a big
Tinkerbell. Oh, that makes the math very bad for our lovely Lawrence, our scheming Lawrence.
Yeah, Calhoun says, and while I'm here, let me just scoot in real quick.
Can we talk about how that Lawrence is not a villain? He has like the most villain-looking art of all time. He's like literally scheming with whatever he's holding.
I thought he was holding a beignet, but if you look closer, it is a crown. I thought he was stealing a beignet because I was like, oh, that makes sense. But on further inspection, it doesn't make sense why he would be stealing a beignet.
Yeah, I mean, why are you stealing a crown too? What movie is Lawrence from?
I don't know. The man in the booth is trying to say that it's the Lorcana lore, but if you zoom in, it looks more like Aurora's crown for some reason. I mean, it could be, but it doesn't look like the half X-Well. This is not why you guys are here. We are looking at Chris just absolutely have a meal. He is eating good. He's got Lorthel on board. Now,
there's Rapunzel.
Yes, we did note that my suspicion that she's like, please let me get some card draw, please.
I need some value out of damaging something. Questing the Lawrence definitely lost some of that opportunity, but
yes, Lawrence is the princess and the frog, but Tiana canonically is not a princess when Lawrence is around. So I don't know what he's up to. Who knows what he's just doing what he has to do.
Oh, it's a big turn.
This is that Pete would have been nice to repeat, but instead he did ink and did not. But that being said, I mean, he's still feeling pretty good knowing he's got a goat.
Yeah, it's still lethal.
Yeah, it's still
Chris's board.
It was nice. That turn.
A valiant effort.
All right, so we're gonna be pressing buttons, so bear with us because multitasking is so hard.
Oh man, queen shift.
But
it's always scary.
That's great.
It's like my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
All right, so that was very fun. I could tell that last round, both of you were kind of doing the whole bluff thing where it's like, you go, no, you go.
Yeah, definitely.
So how did that feel? How was that matchup for you guys? I'll start with you, Veronica. I mean, you definitely showed the Steel Song pain in that second match.
Yeah. So I haven't been playing that long, so Steel Song kind of came a little easier for me. So, and I've never played like on this kind of scale before, so it's nice to try something new. But I think Steel Song for me still is when it lands, it lands. When it doesn't. So, and it did it twice today.
We saw watching you wheel into 2 wheels was something interesting to see.
Yeah.
You're like, would you like to wheel twice more times?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, Chris, congratulations on turning on the lights. That was a very exciting move for all of us here in the booth.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. No, I was telling them that happens to me is I don't realize how dark it is because it gets darker slowly. And then by like the time you realize it's dark, you're like, well, I've adjusted. But no, congratulations on bouncing around, jumping around. You had Elias was pretty excited. Elias, what questions do you have as an Amethyst Steel aficionado? What were some things that
More
were
so
exciting?
Amber Steel, but I guess like
Oh,
I'll
okay,
take
okay. I'm
Amethyst
gonna put
Steel
that in your
crown
mouth. I'm
too.
like, you just like steel. Okay.
Before I move to the actual questions about Amethyst Steel, do you put your cards sideways in your deck box? Hungry? Did I see that correct?
Me? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
They are sideways.
all right. That's a new one. I haven't seen that before. Sorry about that. Just had to,
Oh yeah, that's no worries. It's easier to take out
mention
for
it.
me.
Have you been playing Amethyst Steel from the beginning of the set? Is this like a new addition? Is this a counter pick with anticipation to go up against Amber Steel? Where do you stand with Amethyst Steel?
So Amethyst Steel I actually just picked up like I think 2 weeks ago. So
Okay.
my good friend Josie, who just played in the first match, was able to
Mhm.
secure for me the fourth Enchanted Tinkerbell for my playset, and I just started liking Amethyst Steel. I started playing it at set champs,
We saw the
locals.
flexes. We saw the flexes.
I know.
I really love this card. Like it's just the best art in the game. Like how
We
can
were
you say
saying-
about
100%
that?
agree.
We were making fun of you having the lights off, and it makes sense because otherwise we would have gone blind if you
Right.
had more than
Yeah.
one Tinkerbell out there. So that was actually a workplace
Perhaps.
safety thing.
Yeah.
We appreciate
yeah,
you.
that
I love the
yeah.
deck. The deck or the color combination is just like really.
So what
fun
were
to
you playing
play.
prior to Amethyst Steel? And was it
I
a
was
good
playing a lot
transition
of
or
Emerald Steel. So Steel
Emerald Steel?
decks, I like to play a lot. I
Yeah.
played a little red purple for those set 6, but
Okay.
Steel decks are where I like to put a lot of my focus into.
Gotcha.
And that was, I mean, it was a fun matchup. I mean, it was interesting to see because, we saw some surprises in your deck, Veronica. I mean, not surprises, but I mean, as far as like, not everyone does the Queen Shift package. What
Yeah.
made you decide to run the Queen Shift package in a meta where that is a pretty bold call to run her?
Just because it's different and people aren't expecting it, and at any time you could disrupt somebody else's hand, it works out. But at the same time, you're disrupting your own hand, so it kind of gives and takes.
Oh yeah.
It is. Yeah.
We definitely saw that.
Yeah, I
happen,
was like,
unfortunately.
I probably shouldn't have done it this time, but it's a gamble you take, and
It
I
is.
like to
I
gamble.
was gonna
so.
ask you in game 3 when you shifted Queen and you wheeled into the Calhoun on board. Was there
Uh-huh.
a reasoning for that? Was it your hands wasn't so
My
great? You
hand,
wanted to
it
go?
just wasn't where I wanted it to be, and it didn't get any better. So I was just like, it was either I do it now or do it later. So I figured, why not at this
Yeah.
point? It worked the first time, so let me do it the second time, and it didn't work out. So
I mean,
Well,
it
what
worked
were-
out. You got rid of 3 of my crabs. Oh, 2 of my crabs. I think one of them.
yeah, it's really just I try to wheel right. It's really for when you play red purple, trying to get those big cards out of their hands. So
yeah,
I
totally.
think what we've learned is the love to lore ladies also love to gamble. With
Yeah, we
Mufasa
do.
and the wheel, we're like, all right.
It worked
Yeah.
last time. I mean, why
Yeah,
not?
why not? Just go for it. I mean, what's the worst that can happen?
Hey, gambling, sign me up.
Yeah, right.
Right?
It's a little fun. The stakes, So
Yeah.
We're gonna
wonderful
banish
game.
our money, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, banish. He
Yeah.
got it right. And on the last time, he said, "You guys didn't hear. There was a little bit of a bloodbath in the stream. There was but we're moving past that. We're very excited because now I'm sad that you lost, Veronica, but I am now. It's the final one. Now it's like we got
Right.
Love Galores on the board. We got Tian on the board. So it's into round 3, and now who's gonna do it? I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, before we say goodbye, Veronica, do you have any shout outs or anything you'd like, or either one of you want to shout?
Just shout out to all the people. I'm from Houston. I'm a Houston girl, so the Houston's got a big community. So shout out to all the people here that I play with, especially at Strike Zone, and my husband and my best friend Michael, who got me into the game. He's been amazing. He's the one that got us into it. And my husband, who's asleep right now, didn't even watch me play.
Wow. He's like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna-
he was like, if I'm a backseat coach, I'm just going to go take a nap. So I was like, you do that. So
yeah, it's like when those parents are like, I can't watch my kid play. So,
yeah. So, but
still love.
just shout out to everybody who's helped me out here in the Houston community. It's been a great time. And Elizabeth Sprinkle, she's the one that got me on the Love to Lore team. So shout out to her too.
We love it. We love the lore. And Chris, what about you?
Oh yeah. Shout out to my team, Team Tianhu. Too many people to list. But good luck to
Yeah,
Edmund.
you guys are
in
very
round 3.
intimidating. When I saw you guys at Nationals, I was like, man, they look cool. There's like 4,000 of them. So,
Yeah,
Like,
they
multiply
are.
in 20.
Yeah.
well,
Maybe.
okay. I mean, anybody
like
more
that.
than just me, I'm like, whoa, somebody knows more than 2 people. That's so crazy.
Yeah,
but,
that's what I said. I was like,
Yeah.
In any case, like we're super approachable people, you know.
They
like,
are. They're so
Yeah.
nice. That's the worst thing is like they have like this mad menacing aura of just like these cool jackets. Like, hey, what's up? You're like, oh, great, you're
They're the
nice.
nicest teams. There's always a group of 12 of them at every DLC. So go say
Yeah.
hi when you see those cool jackets.
I know they're great. So
Yeah,
both
they
sides.
are.
Hard to
Both.
play against.
Yeah, it was a good time.
All
But
right.
All right.
lastly,
It
I guess,
was.
okay, say one last thing or no?
Okay, you can say one thing. I'm not gonna
Okay,
cut you
thank
off.
you.
This isn't my channel. You guys, you can talk forever. No, I'm
Oh,
just
yeah,
kidding.
shout out to Wonderland for putting ICL together. This is a really good opportunity to spotlight a lot of different people from all over the country.
Yeah, and
Definitely. Yeah, shout out.
he's in the background pressing buttons like a crazy person. Like I don't even want to know. He's probably like it's like he's like got a keyboard
Pressing
everywhere.
buttons
So
like a crazy person and correcting the Banish
he's doing it
terminology
all and
all at the same
probably
time.
Yeah.
raising
Spanish
a family.
terminology.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's the
So-
technology man. He does it all. Yeah.
he's
Right.
hacking the matrix. So oh yep. All right. I said a nice thing about you. Now I'm upside down. Either way, this is what you get. I got a green screen, but
That's been
coming
upside
up
down,
next,
son.
we saw the lights turn on and we're that's his introduction. So I'm very excited. That's the next host that's coming. He has a green screen. So everybody please get excited about that. But thank you for having me on. I'll say goodbye now, probably, right? Do I say goodbye, man in the booth?
We just start waving goodbye. Good luck in the next match.
Well, you say
We're
goodbye.
excited. Game 3.
Elias, where can people follow you in your life? I mean,
Me?
people
All right.
probably
I'm on Twitch. I stream under Lorcana Habibi. I'm in Discord. Mostly do Amber Steel coaching. That's pretty much where you find me.
They did go to commercial, right? As you said that, but this is recorded. So that's the really cool thing.
It's all good.
Is
They'll find
All
out
right.
later.
yeah, it's good. All right. Well, so we'll find you. And then for anybody who is a subscriber, this is a bonus for subscribers. You get to know you can find me on YouTube and Blue Sky and Instagram and Twitter for now.
Well, there you
So
go.
all the subscribers get to know all the fun things.
All the high-paying individuals will
Yeah.
see where to find us.
Please
There you
find
go.
me. My YouTube video has 30 views that I uploaded today. And I'm not too proud to beg. Why not? It's only like 30 views. And I think at least 3 of them was me. Like I think I'm at least 10% of the views right now, and that's okay. You know, so we're still in a commercial break at this moment.
We'll wait for the commercial to finish, and then we'll wave, and then we'll introduce
Yeah.
JDZ and everyone else.
I know. I'm so excited. I love a plot. It's like when I watch football, I can't wait it until like the 4th or 5th week. So like now there's a plot. The first few games, I don't care. There's some leftover plot, but I want. And now in the ICL, we got plot going. And round 2 is going to kick off. I think beginning of March, end of February. So we're gonna have.
There you go.
We're
We're
gonna
off
have beefs.
commercials. There you go.
Oh, all right. Well, it's been great, everyone.
It's been a pleasure.
I'm Katie. This is Habibi Elias. And, Veronica, Chris, thank you. Up next, we have the wonderfully talented JDZ Quest and the second person that I just forgot, but I'll remember after they come on screen. Oh gosh, I know it was exciting. No, it's Clara. It's Questing Queen.
It's
I will.
Questing
Okay,
Queen
yes.
Clara.
The Questing Queen. So you got a dynamic duo. So thank you for having us as your host.
A little bit of technical difficulties to start this bad boy off. No one can. I, I'm unmuted in the commentator area. I'm ready. I'm locked in. I can see myself unmuted. I'm good here. Wonderland can hear me in the commentator booth. Clara can't hear me. The Questing Queen can't hear me. I cannot hear you. Luke, can you hear her? All right, we're gonna get this sorted. I mean, it's always gonna be a little bit of technological indifferences to start the ICL. You guys already know that. You know what time it is, so don't pretend like you don't. But still, we have some high quality action that's gonna be coming your guys' way. I believe this is going to be a decider, or I think this might be a two. Who won round one? I came in a little bit late. Who won round number one?
Lindsay won round one. Chris
Okay.
won round two, and I believe you can hear me because you're acknowledging. Yes.
Yes. Okay. We got it all sorted out. So we got the Questing Queen live in the booth, and I'm looking forward to the all important game number 3. I like the ICL, but when you got a game 3 on the line, and when you got a game 3 on the line, and it all matters, I think that's when it comes up. But first, before we start this match, I will like to say
if you could go
that
into Pixelborn
no matter
join
what
game
happens,
ICL 3,
no matter what
lowercase
happens, I'm a
ICL,
huge
followed by
fan
the number
of
3.
this Love to Lore team.
And
Just a
when
little
it'd be
backstory
willing
for
to
me. They
stream
probably
into
don't even
Discord
remember,
so that
but
we
I
can
think it was
see
at
the match.
DLC Seattle, maybe DLC in Vegas. I had the opportunity to meet some of the Love to Lore team, and I got the Love to Lore little token here. I got the Love to Lore token right there, and there were some incredible players. They're very kind, and they're a good representation of what I think about when I think of Disney Lorcana players. I think they're super sweet, super kind, very open. They just had a great conversation. It made a lasting experience with me, and they didn't have to do that because I think that's something that I think this community does very well, and they represent it well. So I'm a huge fan of Love to Lore, and hopefully they continue to do that kind of stuff because I think they're great ambassadors to this game. So thank you so much for doing that. It meant a lot to me, and I'll continue to cherish that moment for as long as I'm playing. But still,
Oh yeah, I'm excited to see that third game. I can't wait, and especially because we have amazing people. We had 4 other players competing so far, and we have a tie.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
break that tie.
I want to see the players come out. I just want to see a good game, a nice clean back and forth. I want to see these decks. I can see the decks, and you guys are going to be in for a treat. Some cool things happening. I mean, some of the stuff is pretty standard, but it's a matchup that can go either way in Lorcana. And I love those 50-50 type matchups. So depending on how the cards flow, how the game goes, I think that's going to be the determining factor of how this thing rolls out. I mean, obviously the play draw thing is always going to be an issue in this game, but I think that these players might be skilled enough to kind of negotiate that. And I think this matchup could be a coin toss. I think it's going to be great.
Oh yeah, let's see what spices our contestants are bringing to the table.
Absolutely. I know you like the spice. Have you seen the deck list? What would you rate these decks on your Clara Spicetron meter? What would you put them at if you had to call the spice indicator? We'll start with the Love to Lore deck. What do you think of the spice meter if you had to call it out of 10? Scoville.
Scoville out of 10. I would say a good 5. We have elements of spice, but we have good standard things like traditional to not make some heartburns. So yeah.
So it's like a nice. You're thinking like a jalapeno, you think, or maybe like a little a ghost pepper. Okay. What about from the Tian Ho team? What do you think about Edmund's deck? What did you put that on the Spicetron?
Well, it's it's pretty standard.
Okay.
I would say a 3 or 4.
3,
yeah.
like crushed ground pepper, or maybe some salt, table salt. You thinking?
Yeah. It's it's traditional, but
Okay.
it does the job so well.
Okay. It's a staple. But the Questing Queen, Clara, it looks like the players are getting locked in and they're ready to go. So hopefully you all are locked in and ready to go as well, as we're about to take this thing all the way off. Prepare your seat backs again as we're preparing to take off, set sail, if we will, as with the cutting. And it looks like Lorcana Cat is going to be on the play going first this time, as Edmund is going to be on the draw. I think this could be good. I think this is going to be a good one.
Oh yes. We gotta say that we know what they're playing, but they don't. So the
Absolutely.
first turns will be crucial in terms of deciphering what the opponent is going to play,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to see some cues in what is inked and what is played to navigate the early game. Should we spoil the nature of the deck or let
Oh, no
our
spoilers, no spoilers. We
no,
gotta ride.
no
We gotta ride the wave. We're gonna ride the wave together, and we're all gonna get there in
Mhm,
due time. I'm sure the secrets will be revealed, but I love a little mystique, a
mhm.
little bit of surprise factor. Just to, it makes for good TV. That's right, Ed. Don't lock in. Don't touch that dial. Keep it tuned. Stay tuned in for a great match. I think it's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be a good one as we got that altar phase is taking place. It looks like Lorcana Cat is only going to shift back one card to the deck. That's a good sign of a good hand. While on the other side, it appears as if Edmund is going to do. I think Edmund's just standing by, waiting on the turn player to do theirs first, which is a good heads up move, which you probably all should start doing. Unless they did theirs already. I'm just completely misspeaking. It looks like they did, what, 6, 5? I couldn't tell. We'll figure it out sooner or later.
Mhm.
But it's time to go. It's underway. It's underway. Let's do this. Let's do this. As we'll start
Yes.
off, we will ink the crustacean, Mr. Crab, and we'll send down the Chernobog followers. So we got a little bit of purple, more purple in this tournament. We've seen a lot of purple here in the ICL so far. It's just a powerful color. So
Yeah, interesting that the colors of the first ink and play were purple. And
but now the cat is out of the bag, and it looks like we have
oh,
the menace. We have the green steel has returned. It's been in retrograde for a while, but now it is back as the Diablo is going to
oh.
find itself onto the play. We did get a sneak peek of the hand. I didn't catch too many of the cards. It kind of went by pretty quick, but I'm sure Edmund got a nice little identity of what those cards are. But
Well, we have a lady in chair, a Queen of Hearts rush, the Madame Mim rush, friends to the on the other side, and another card I couldn't take my eyes on.
Okay. So we are playing the Ruby Am versus the Amber Steel. Who do you put in the advantage slot in that matchup? I think it's about 50-50 in my estimation. What do you think, Claire, when you see this matchup? All skill being equal.
All skills being equal, I would say that there are pitfalls. You got to be careful on how to navigate both ways. And Edmund has the information that the caddy does not have a brawl, if I do recall correctly. So he's going in the safe route of playing the Diablo and questing, or yeah, it seems it is a quest. And unless on the other side there's some evasive shenanigans, Diablo is in the clear for at least one or two turns.
And as soon as that bird gets loose, man, when the bird is the word and he's out doing his thing, and you get to the brawl right there, right on time. So that is a great
Oh,
use of your turn 3 play. You're able to secure that bird right away before it can do maximum damage. And like you said, Queen, that thing was prepared to just caw 5, 6, 7 cards, and you just can't win after that. So getting that timely brawl, getting that thing off the board, I think that was essential. As the Queen of Hearts is going to get a mighty little quest in for one. Not afraid of a morph. Maybe we get a shift and slam into this Queen of Hearts. Potentially could happen. Probably won't, but let's see. Robin Hood would be powerful, but I think this green steel deck has kind of put Robin Hood by the wayside.
Well, we don't know. It could be a possibility, and you got to be careful because green steel could shift onto Robin and play a song, 5-cost song.
That could be powerful. I mean, we did see a we don't talk about Bruno already get sent down to the discard for that shift, but now we'll set up the other menace of this strategy. When the Diablo stuff's not working, maybe you got this Ursula can set up and start building out some tunes, and that's another threat. Let's see if Lorcana Cat can negotiate this obstacle as well in just a clean manner. And you don't have another brawl, but you'll go ahead and jam out the rabbit here and add another card. So this Ursula looks like it's piped up, ready to hit some tunes, and let's see if Edmund's going to do that, or is it going to get another quest in?
Really interesting there because you want to keep up building advantage in your hand, card draw and stuff, and you want to have board presence, but it's and then you let your opponent have the decision making of, do I discard cards or do I use songs to deal with the board? And you don't know what they're gonna do.
Oh, so the worst case scenario comes as Prince John comes on curve with an Ursula set up, and Ursula's able to go ahead and double sing and rip 2 cards and +2. That is an absolute blow right there. That feels terrible when that happens to you. You hate to be on the other side of that, as double sing Ursula tucks that sudden chill back to the bottom of the deck when Prince John just sitting there doing his thing. Absolutely get that guy out of here. Ward, why do you have it? Hate to see it. And now the space goo is still just standing alone and unafraid as strength is getting down to the ink. Well, hands must be cracked.
Well, Morph sitting there doing nothing is probably a good thing, because Amber, not Amber, but Ruby Amethyst, unless there's a Elsa, can't do anything. And you don't necessarily want to brawl a Morph. It
No.
does nothing. You have bigger fish to fry.
But I think you gotta. I still do think you have to take caution and throw it to the wind and get this singing Ursula off the board here. You may have to cost you a card in the process, but I think it absolutely needs to be gone. But let's see if that is what the Lorcana Cat is going to do. As they just go and quest, they go and bring out the Fox, who's a good tool to take down this Ursula relatively easily, and you'll get a card draw from the Rabbit. So that's quite good. That's a quite good exchange. You'll get a plus value here, taking down the Ursula. So that. I mean, that turn was a blow, but I think that was a good rebuttal there in the interim.
Navigating green seal is really strange. Either you want to have a low number of cards in your hand to not give the Prince John advantage, or you want to have all the amount of cards in your hand to just say, hey, you're making me discard cards? Fine. Let's throw the little cards I don't need so much and give the good stuff so I can deal with yours.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But this Queen of Hearts has been on the board doing some quality work, gaining some incremental lore. And Queen of Hearts even been in this deck at all. It seemed I just that's a shocker right there. You don't really see Queen of Hearts being played too much. I think it's a good tech choice, maybe help with the aggressive matchups and just give you some more options here. And it's actually kind of holding the board down. So Prince John can't really quest freely. Space Goo Morph can't really do anything either. And you're just constantly sitting there with that 2/2 just hanging out. So let's see what Ed's going to do here. Or Edmund, as it may be, not to be confused with the North American Continental Champion, Edmund, who's also on the same team, I believe. There are 2 Edmonds. One is the champ. One is almost the champ. Okay, he'll be there someday, I'm sure. As we're gearing up for another quest, it looks like Prince John's questing in the face of adversity. Look at him. No, he's singing here as Storm is going to rage on into the Queen, finally putting that thing out of there.
So the Amethyst character, with the glare of the camera, I don't quite see.
The Amethyst, that is Fox, Madam Mim.
Oh,
Fox.
yeah. Okay. Oh, we have a beast into play.
Oh, that was a great play. That was a great play. You're able to clear the board pretty effectively, and you're able to establish a problematic beast on the field as well. Who's representing some more draw cards. Taking that beast out would be quite nice in this scenario. You're only sitting at 4 ink though, so I don't think you have the resources to do it. As Genie, Wish Fulfilled, is going to come to the field and add another card to the play.
Really interesting there. We want to get to the 6 cost character as soon as possible if we can. Because those are the options to deal either with Prince John or Beast, both of which are good targets.
And I believe that was a Maui fish hook that just went down to the inkwell as well. So that's some spice. I think we have to raise the spice meter. I think your spice meter might be a little bit. I think it might be a little bit off. I think we might have to bring that up a little bit. I think because it's you. Okay.
What?
I think your spice meter might be a little desensitized because you're playing some super spice. I think Maui fish hook and Queen of Hearts is some. That's some Scoville level stuff. As we're going to talk about Bruno as well, getting the Genie off the play, back to the hand, and then we get another quality discard, and Prince John is going to reap the benefits. That's double dip John as well. That's 2 of them. So that's pretty insane.
That's amazing. And like my spicy scale is is just fine.
It's just fine.
I'll let
Okay.
you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe mine it needs to be a little more resilient because I see my spot. Maybe mine is too sensitive because I think Maui Fish Hook in this deck.
Mm.
I'm looking at this deck now. It seems quite spicy. Okay, it's burning my
Ooh.
tongue. But yours is a little more durable. Mine's way too sensitive. As we do get a double draw here from Prince John again, so he's doing his absolute thing. We don't talk about Bruno, and you're gonna rip the Be Prepared as well. So I mean, that's not the worst possible rip. Be Prepared was so far off, but if
Not
you could have
at the
got that thing
moment.
live, it could have been the way to go. But just having it camped out in your hand is just going to be something for Ursula, the deceiver, to come down and just take later on anyway. So probably the best case scenario. You can get that genie back down and maybe get another card and maybe potentially get this thing going. If you could just get to that situation where you can get another Be Prepared online and get it played, you can kind of turn this thing around. But it's looking like it's kind of getting to that out of hand scenario as the or the green steel deck is known to do.
So at this point, Be Prepared getting discarded is not the worst thing in the world. We have time. But how many cards does Caddy have in her hand? Do we know?
I can't see it. I think it still seemed when the Bruno resolved, it seemed like there was at least 4 in hand at that time. That was before the draw went down. So it's gonna be something as Maui is gonna be out. Maui,
Ooh.
that's a strong Maui, as he's gonna be able to take down the beast in the cove, leaving these feeble Johns alone. They're powerful, but they can't do much on their own. So getting that threatening beast off the field, singers are down. Maui's still alone and unafraid. He got some damage on it, but I think that's a nice little big, huge tempo swing, taking down that beast there.
Well, it does bring back the heat a little bit. Like the 2 Prince Johns on the field is like, okay, this card actions could refill Edmund's hand, sure. But we want to make sure against Green Steel that we are able to have actions and be able to be Be Prepared on top. So
and another thing I've noticed when I play against the green steel deck, sometimes you might lose your hand, but not most of the time your top decks are going to be way better than their top decks. So if you can get to a struggling like top deck war, your card economy is probably going to be a little bit better. They're going to be top decking the hypnotizes and the other things, and you can kind of top deck, the Lady Tremaines, and you're top decking the Madame Medusas and Be Prepared and all these types of things closer towards the end of that game. And it looks like Edmund, I can't really see the hand size either, but his hand doesn't look super juiced either. So if you get into a struggling situation, these Prince Johns, they look cool, but they can't really do too much. And you can kind of get back into the game as we're inking the strength. That's a scary thing, seeing strength go down to the inkwell here.
Yeah, Green Steel is a good example of a Goldberg machine. Like intricate pieces all working together, and as soon as those pieces fall off, you feel like at a loss. Ruby Amethyst is like every card has an impact in play or on future turns, and you can just feel the power every time.
Right. And that hypnotize was actually quite strong. So you got those double Prince Johns with a hypnotize. That's pretty rough. It looks like the hand is now sitting at 3 cards. Still, I mean, that's a pretty sizable hand. But it's, again, you're not. Those cards might not be the most impactful cards in the late game situation. And usually this board is extremely wide by this point. And I don't think, I mean, you're in a pretty comfortable spot, but I don't think the game is anywhere near over. I think we got a lot left. That sudden chill is going to come down. So you're continuing to rip cards, continue to plus vigorously with these double Prince Johns in effect. And we have to lose the GOAT. That's painful.
Yeah, but again, here card advantage is better than lore gain. So we hope for Katie that she has a card draw to play. That's for sure.
Yeah, and that does feel bad seeing that beast come out after the Madame Medusa already hits the board, and you're not able to jack that beast out of there. So it's all going to be. I mean, it's one of those things that happens, but we still have opportunity to get to the be prepared. If Lorcana Cat can get to that be prepared in a timely manner, you still can kind of top deck your way out of this. Get to some genies, get to some rabbits, and there's a rabbit here, so you're able to get a few more cards. But I would even argue sometimes it's better to just start top decking here in the face of these double Prince Johns to make sure that those sudden chills and hypnotizers just don't get any more value, because each time they play a sudden chill, they're basically getting 2 new cards, and that is just not cool. So
Yeah.
and the beast now is able to add another drawing engine there too. So this one looks like it's about to turn the corner as the hypnotize comes down,
my.
and you lose to be prepared. Oh, that's rough. That is a rough ride right there. It's almost not even play the. I don't even know. That's a rough one right there. I think
It's
that's a
like
backbreaker.
at this point, you have 2 cards in hand. You have 6 ink, and you just drew the be prepared with a rabbit. At this point against Green Steel, they probably will make you discard 1 card, probably 2. It's a gamble to keep the 2 cards and not ink and hope of only 1 general discard, and then you can top deck ink, play be prepared. Or
Yeah.
then in that case, we saw Ursula being inked on top. So
So maybe they just, if they did play the Ursula, because they had the ink to play that Ursula and then get a rip on, or get a peep of your hand, and they'll rip it there too. So I think it's one of those just cursed situations. It just happens to you. You just got to roll the dice and keep it moving. But
Catch
that
22.
that does sting the nostrils a bit there, getting that be prepared ripped in this situation, because that was a comeback. That was a whole comeback in itself, and it just so happened to go down the wrong way. As we'll play the Madam Mim Snake, we'll get our Medusa back to hand. Do you have enough ink to redeploy this Medusa? I don't think you do, as it looks like you request a rabbit. It looks like you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got to count that ink. Do you have another card in your hand that you could possibly ink? You don't. And that's misery incarnate as well, because if you got another discard card and you could just take that Madame Medusa away, oof.
Well, it's a gamble at this point. You're like, I gotta deal with what's on board against 3 Prince Johns, and the beast. The only thing you can do is to have that Medusa to deal with the beast. That's how you do.
And it looks like we do go for a Bruno here. Bruno going after the. Let's see if we go after the rabbit. So we will be able to get a draw from that rabbit. Yeah, I think the Bruno should go first, or the rabbit.
Yeah, the Bruno should resolve first
before the draw.
Yeah.
The judge is all over it. Yeah, because the turn player determines the bag, and actions can't be interrupted. I've learned. So the Bruno resolves. We rip one from the hand. Prince John triggers a jillion times. Holy, that's a mess. And then you get to trigger your rabbit. Oh, there you go. Man.
So it's probably better this way. Let me tell you why. Because if the card drew with the rabbit is a be prepared, we don't want that discarded.
Okay. That is true. So it's the Medusa, and let's see if there's another. So you will get 3 more draws here. So this game is kind of spiraling. It's kind of been spiraling, but ever since that be prepared got taken, that's kind of was the backbreaker. And it seems like Lorcana Cat has been trying to claw back ever since. But maybe you can get to another be prepared. I mean, it is a card that you play at 4, and there is no Pete. So if you can jam a be prepared here, you're right back in the fight, I think. Well, maybe it's still going to be a super uphill climb, but you're almost back.
Yeah, it depends how much be prepared. Like, we know a maximum of 4 could be in a deck. And we've seen 2 so far, so we're getting dangerously close to the closing time.
Yeah. I mean, but you got to play it. You got to play it through. And there's the Pete. Never mind. So that's another out that has just been that door has been closed. and let's say if you get a Mighty Quest in, I think you should be free and clear to just send it all, exert it there, just try to start winning the game. Or if you're still feeling, I mean, those Prince Johns have done their duty. It's time for them to start paying some bills. As you got to figure out a way to win this thing. You might just deck out, and there you go. You are gonna go to Mighty Quest. You'll go for a 7-piece right here, and that'll put you up to 10. So you're halfway there.
That's huge.
Yeah, so I believe this is a lot of lore on board, as you got the other 10-piece coming back your way next turn. 11-piece. Okay, 11-piece chicken McNugget coming your way, and that's going to be a GG if you can't figure out. I guess you can go for the Medusa, drop the beast, blast in with the snake, take out one of the Prince Johns, and you're stable. Not stable. You're nowhere near stable, but you're going to be okay adjacent, I suppose.
Oh, it's a good start.
Okay. And then you got the snake, who is dry, so he's going to be able to get into one of these Prince Johns, I would assume. Then your ink is going to be depleted. You got one left. Maybe you put out a 1-cost character, which I don't think you've played so far. I mean, you should have access to a 1-cost at this point. I would only assume.
Normally, Ruby Amethyst runs like 8 1-cost, maybe up to 10, so it's not necessarily a given.
Queen of Hearts. One time you got another Queen of Hearts. That'd be pretty. Oh no, you're just gonna pass with 2 floating, as you're gonna ready the rest of the goon squad. It looks like, as I mean, you can even quest again for a nice chunky bit, put some more threats out, and then vibrate magnificently for the victory. As Ursula's just gonna check. Ooh. It was the Queen of Hearts. Why not deploy the Queen there? I think he has some ink available to do so. Get that Queen active and slam into one of these Prince Johns, but we elected to hold. I could be mistaken.
Yeah, I'm confused.
Maybe you're just trying to play around this Bruno discard situation. Maybe just to get a clean out. That could be the energy right there. But I think at this point, it's all systems go, as you need to just make it happen. As we'll go ahead and get a 1. And it is going to be that Medusa. So the Gambit did not work because the Medusa was still ripped from the hand, as you're going to add 2 more cards. And I think that is just going to be all she wrote, as we're still fighting. We're never going to give up.
Yeah. We never know. Like, there could be some card rubbing on the mat and a reveal of be prepared. Happened once in a past life.
Yeah. And that's another huge quest. And that's how this green steel deck is played. They just kind of control, get to the end and just quest it out, as we're going to just go ahead and pack it up here. So GG's over to Ed, who's going to walk away with game number 1 on the draw. And that always has to feel good, knowing that if you do have to push a game 3, you'll be on the play again. So winning that first one on the draw is always a sensation. As we're going to check out some chat, it looks like people are not a fan of discard. It's going to be part of the game, so you gotta deal with it. Okay, a lot of people don't like discard, and ironically enough, I think it's because the discard deck has the most villain cards. I don't know. I haven't done my research, but there are a lot of villains in the discard deck. So I just always, associate it with being a bad guy deck. So if you're a villain, like a bad guy, or if you're the antagonist, you're probably playing the discard deck, because it's got the Prince Johns, you got the Ursulas, you got the Diablos, you got like all these villain type cards in there. So,
well, I gotta say, chat. I'm following you on this. I don't like this card too much. I have scars from a certain chapter. Let's say.
Chat says we love discard. Very hungry. Loves some discard. I mean, I can support it. I'd rather play the Emerald Steel discard than the Bend to My Will discard deck. The blue-green deck, I hate playing against that deck. That is my new least favorite thing to do, because it's so slow, it's so boring, and then you just do all your thing and boom, you just rip my whole hand. I'm just like, and we got to play another 20 minutes while I try to fight back, because I think I can win. But it just feels so bad to sit here and deal with the Bend to My Will strategy. But still, it's a part of it. You gotta deal with it. You gotta deal with it.
I've tested that deck. I've tested Green Steel. Even though I'm not a fan of those decks, and I'm not a fan of being playing against those decks, I'm like, I just gotta know. I just gotta know the feeling,
Mm-hmm.
and you feel amazing and like horrible at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
It-
You feel I feel when I have played discard as well, I like to try everything. I've played the Emerald Steel deck, and I've played the Bend of My Will deck, and I just found myself apologizing so much, like to my opponent. Ooh, hey man, ooh, sorry about that. Hey, dude, I'm so sorry. Yeah, your whole hand, yeah, all of it. And they're just like, can I read that? Yeah, here, yeah. All my cards, yeah, all of them, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna need all those. Oh, dude, I'm so sorry, man. Yeah. And then when the game is over and I win, I just feel bad about it. I don't feel
well,
I feel terrible.
so far, like I've tested the deck, and people were like, "Hey, you've played to your best, and you beat me," and I'm not even mad. I'm like, "Oh my god." Probably the good experience of play around it made it like better. I don't know.
Hmm.
But let's see on the game right now
Oh,
how we will see a really great game.
okay. So we did find some one drops this time. We'll jam the
Mhm.
broom down into the inkwell, and then we'll lead out with the Chernobog follower. So you didn't get one last time, but you got one this time. As we're going to go ahead and ink and pass. So no one cost for you. For Ed, as they pass back on over to the Lorcana Cat. Let's see if we can find something on two to do.
Well, that's amazing news for Cat because the not having Diablo on 1 means no Diablo shift action on 2, most
Mm.
probably.
And that's good. So Lorcana Cat's probably hanging on to that brawl just in case that pesky bird hits the board again. She got through him, or she got through him pretty quick that last time. Let's see if that's going to
Mhm.
happen again. As we're going to be on two. What do you do? Do you have a play this time? I know they play. They typically play. So I believe the new way they build these decks are very low to the ground. I think they have way more. They have the Ursula they can do on two. They have the Calhoun Morph. They have things that can happen as Morph Space Goo does come on out on two. He's a bit of a threat. Speaking of that Diablo shift.
Yeah, Morph is a threat in disguise because you have, we've seen Beast on Shift 3, there's Robin Hood possibly on Shift
Mhm.
3, there could be a Tinkerbell on Shift 4, and sometimes I've seen versions of the deck playing Cinderella Shift 5,
Oh, really?
and that is soul crushing.
But at least at a minimum, the morph can check both of these one cost characters a little bit, as you're going to be able to quest the Chernobog. Let's see if you pop. Maybe you don't even worry about popping, or you're going to go ahead and pop here, and you will get your
Mm.
card. Just maybe trying to prevent a Diablo shift on morph, and you can still get some and halt some of that value your opponent can get. And I think you're going to go ahead and quest out the broom here, a shift into a what is it? Not beast. You want to shift beast, probably wouldn't hurt too bad. As snake is going to bounce the broom back to hand, so it doesn't even matter in the end.
Okay, interestingly enough, oh, okay, we're changing from Broom to Chernobog's follower. Interesting.
just revealing a little bit of information, and maybe you just favor Chernobog follower a little bit more. Maybe get some more value out of the broom, as I believe you have 3 cards in hand, 1 space goo on the board. I like that card. I think space goo is a good design, and it's kind of lore accurate to the film of Treasure Planet. Have you ever seen that movie?
A long time ago,
Yeah, it's quite good. It's a sleeper,
like
man. It failed pretty
yeah.
spectacular at the box office, and I think that's why Disney didn't make a sequel or do any more movies like that again. But it's quite original in its design. As we are going to go ahead and shift the Diablo,
Ooh.
the Diablo. How do they say it in the UK? They say Diablo, as we will storm rage on the Chernobog, get a plus value and a card draw.
Yeah, the reliability of playing songs with a Diablo shift is so dangerous.
It's incredibly annoying, is what it is. I think that's
Yeah,
also
yeah.
the fact that you can do that is that's almost worse than some of his other shenanigans that Diablo. The fact that he's evasive and he can sing and he can draw and he just shift. Oh my goodness, get over yourself, Diablo, for
And the
free, by the way.
Pete.
And the Pete. Jeez Willies, give me a break. All right, so you have a pretty nice little situation here. So you're not going to be able to brawl this Diablo this turn. So it's going to get at least 2 cards, which I think that's value right there. Unless you have something that can come in and challenge into this Diablo. I don't think there's a evasive rush character. What about that Peter Pan Shadow Finder? I know that's something that people play. I don't think he's probably being played, but that card can come back. Bring him back.
Yeah, I believe the power of that Peter Pan is especially stronger with the Maui shark.
Yeah, that's a good little synergy right there.
Hmm.
As we'll quest up the Madam Mim Fox, just trying to run the race, get to 20 as soon as possible, I think is gonna be something you want to do. Just go ahead and hit the gas pedal, see if you can quest out and just try to win before you lose all your cards. And maybe you can get some bounce set up and start just trying to overwhelm them with card advantage of your own, so they can't rip more than you can draw. Which I think that might be difficult to try to do. It's a tough out, especially with an active live Diablo just doing his thing, questing and gaining incremental lore and also card advantage as well. It's a tough out.
Yeah, the power of Diablo is also that it is a 3-cost character, enabling a lot of singing, and you can just go vibing and singing turn after turn.
Mm-hmm. I mean, eventually got to run out of songs, but we will get a sneak peek of the hand, and you'll see that you got friends on the other side.
Oh.
All right, so maybe this Ursula actually might come in here to snipe that friends. If that is what you do, that could be a backbreaker as well. Because Rabbit singing friends, you might be on your way. You do have two ink left. Just to cut that off would be pretty chill. As we'll just ink the muses up, and we will play another Pete. So we will continue to protect our board, and we can quest our Diablo again.
So maybe we are waiting for that Ursula to come in, and we want to prevent the play of songs, especially, but actions too, with the brawl. So it really good play here with playing the Pete against other options.
Right, just kind of using the piece, protect your Diablo, stop the and if you do have, say hypothetically you do have the Ursula, you can always just play the Ursula later and then get another sneak peek of the new updated hand information while also ripping that song that you know is there. And also you could maybe even get into a Prince John scenario where you can get Prince John down and Ursula and get some more value for yourself. So I think this could be spelling trouble here if you can't get to that 7 ink, if you can't get that be prepared off. I think this also could be an issue for Lorcana Cat. She is on the play and she's at 5 ink. Maybe we can make it happen as you're going to get another Mighty Quest in for 2. You're already at 6 as well, so that's quite good.
Okay, really interesting here. The ink choice, I would say library against friends on the other side. What would be your pick?
I'm probably inking that friends on the other side. Honestly, I'm just so afraid of a Ursula Prince John situation that I'm probably going to get rid of the friends on the other side. But again, that could be a misplay as well. Maybe they just absolutely don't have it. And then you put the library out, they shift a couple guys to the hidden cove, and you lose the library for nothing. So it's like you wasted your whole turn setting up a library, and then it just goes away immediately. So I don't know about. It's a tough situation here. But I think that they're going to go ahead and favor. They probably just don't have it. As you are going to hit the rabbit, you do trigger that draw. So maybe this is all just a delayed Prince Johning anyway, and we'll see if it works out that way. We'll see. Are we? Yeah, we're going to trade up the snake. It looks like.
Oh.
Yeah, it looks like Pete's going to go 1 for 1. With
Okay,
the Madam
it's
Mim
a trade.
Meet the Madam Mim. Get that on up out of there, and then let's see what's going to be the next piece of this puzzle. You haven't used any of your ink this turn. And we will go ahead and ink the Tinker Bell. Play Prince John.
That's another shift option.
Oh, we're going to hard cast. Look at that. Hard cast of Bruno.
Wow.
That's interesting. Actually, that's an interesting indeed on the hard cast on the Bruno without a Prince John. Just trying to clear that board off. Maybe trying to protect some of your characters as well. You hit the brawl. Oh my goodness. What do you know?
That's bonkers.
Sniper alert. Look at that. 1 out of 5 brawl snipage. Oh my goodness. Pace be good. I mean, sometimes you're good. Sometimes you're good.
Oh
And
yeah,
sometimes you're great.
Henman is going good right now. Like next level sniping in the blind.
Hey,
Wow.
sometimes you're good.
I wouldn't like to. Yeah, I wouldn't like to be in Katie's shoes right now.
No, I'm tilting. If I'm Katie, I'm probably tilting way into obscurity. I'm feeling bad right there because that is something that you just did not need to
However,
happen.
however, there's not so much discard happening, and that is good news for Ruby Amethyst.
Mm-hmm.
Like incrementing your ink every turn, going to 7 and hitting that be prepared is crucial. Uh, then you can regain advantage and deal with everything on Green Steel's board.
And you do. I mean, one positive note is that you do have this. You still have this genie here, and he is able to quest, but he didn't quest
Genie
or
just
challenge.
got played.
Well, he just got played that turn. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I looked away for a brief moment. I thought he was down there that last turn.
Well,
But
he was there last turn, got Bruno'd
that's
away,
right.
and
That's right.
came
I
back.
missed. Okay. I'm blind. Okay. So now Genie can actually get into this Diablo as well. And now here comes the Ursula. Finally, after all that, you hit the be prepared. You got double friends. You got, oh my goodness, so much nutrients. You got a lot of juice in there. You have the brawl as well. So you do have another brawl. You'll be able to clear this Diablo relatively easily.
Yeah. No.
You'll be able to clear this Diablo. I still think it's okay. You got to be able to resolve one of these be prepared at some time. And again, huge shout out to Edmund. He's playing it very well, ensuring that they don't get blasted by a be prepared, using their cards in a very effective manner. As sudden chill is going to be saying, it looks like.
Ooh.
Oh, no, it's saying to the inkwell. I'm sorry. Sudden chill is going to get
Okay.
inked.
How many cards in Henman's hand right now? I'm not pretty sure about that.
And it looks like they're just going to start trying to race themselves to get to that 20, as we got the double Diablo in the hidden cove along with Pete. And now your brawl is effectively useless unless you want to put it on the Ursula or that smaller Diablo. But you're just kind of hanging out now, unless you can get past that hidden cove. You do have a pretty nice quester for 2, but that's just not going to be enough now that you guys are all knotted up at 6. You're going to pay 3 Hardcast of Friends, it looks like. No, that's a crab. Crab charge up the genie and rock out the Diablo, perhaps. And that works out great. You'll take back 3. Keep in mind that genie should have 3 damage instead of 2 because of the power buff from Hidden Cove, and it was corrected almost instantly.
Yes, indeed. Whew. Okay, what are our options right now? Playing friends on the other side seems a good thing.
Yeah, I think you probably even could have played those friends before you committed to the crab gambit. Just get some more cards in the fray, perhaps, and then maybe I'm pretty sure the decision would have already been made. You're crabbing there if that's what you wanted to do, but the friends just seems like you could have given yourself a little bit more options to determine what you wanted to do there.
Another big gamble would have been to sing with Genie, friends on the other side, to hope for be prepared. And that would have been like next level foreshadowing or foreseeing, I guess.
But I think she just really wanted to get that Diablo off the case. If another shift Diablo here, I think that could be a good thing for Edmund. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's not what you want to do. As you do have it already set up in the cove, clearing their opposition genie, unless you set it up and then sing beast out, beast in the cove. Hate to see it.
Okay, that means no Mana Medusa can target beast well effectively.
You might, if you have a fox, you might be able to bring down the fox, bounce the crab, charge up the fox, and just clear this hidden cove already, and just get it out of the equation. As you'll just send the strength in, or was that strength? Yeah, strength is going to go ahead and completely annihilate this this crab. We'll banish him, and then we will quest for 1. Easy.
Yeah. Getting 1 the turn in 13 turns to win.
But I think that's probably why you didn't go after that genie, just because you're afraid of a fox bounce uh, thing and take down one of your characters, or maybe body bag your cove. So I think that's probably the heads up play, just clearing the fox off. Genie's not going to be long for this realm for much longer with his damaged body.
Mm.
Yeah, man. Dude, this is a grindy matchup, dude. This is so hard. Discard is hard mode. You got to play like super different. You got to play super perfect, and it's not easy to do. So let's see if the Lorcana cat can kind of stabilize this and get back, because we definitely would like to see a game number 3, as we are going to go for a friend on the other side with this genie now. Conserve your ink, maybe taking your play, Quest and Queen. Maybe find that, be prepared
Okay.
now.
Gamble is now. Gamble is now. And yeah,
And
I
I
feel
think
it.
it worked out. Look at that. As Be Prepared does come down, you're able to reset the game state, reset the game board, and kind of get back to parity. You're still, I believe you're down in card. It looks like Edmund is holding on to 4 in hand right now. So you are down in materials, but this is a nice way to kind of turn the tables and get right back into it. As you're also holding 4 cards. We're all knotted up here on cards as Prince John finds his way to the board again, and you already know what he's looking to do. He's looking to hypnotize. He's looking to sudden chill. He's looking to rip and dip and get some more value.
Bringing all those evil things.
Just taxing
Ugh.
you. Just taxing you endlessly, dude. Take from you and give to himself. Hate to absolutely see it. You got to get him out of here. You got Ward 2 for no reason. That
You
is
already
super.
got 7 cards in your head. No, got more. Need more.
And there's not a lot you can do about it. So I think you got to get to a point where, honestly, at this point, when you got Prince John set up in these low resource kind of games, I'm emptying my hand. I'm dumping it. I'm trying to put as much to the field as possible and just trying to make this guy as useless as I can. As Pete is also going to come out. So you didn't get any discard. You do have a singer set up. So maybe if you can nuke your hand right now, a bunch of 1 cost, maybe, I don't know, some 2 costs, a bunch of queens or something. I don't know what you can get to kind of reduce your hand in this Ruby Amethyst deck. You have 4, and what is it going to be paying? 5. That's a pretty hefty cost. The Maui, look at Maui. He's going to be able to jump right into that hidden cove right away, locate it, and take it down with 1 vicious blow. And now he's a menacing threat onto the board, keeping that Pete and Prince John from questing or singing. Dude, Maui, I love that guy. I'm a big Maui supporter. And we also play the GOAT. So that's a good use of all 9 of your ink, as you got a 5 cost and a 4 cost. You still have 2 cards in hand. So if both of these things are getting ripped right now, and Hypnotize is going to come on in for 3, huge swing.
And Brawl's getting away.
All right, so you lost a little brawl, but Prince John gains 1, Hypnotize gains 1, and then another one would be, oh my goodness, you just cannot catch a break. So we're double hypnotized here. You take a down turn, and Tremaine. Oh man, that was a good one. That is a great way to get around this Prince John with Lady Tremaine's banishing effect. But unfortunately, Prince John's going to do his thing. Hypnotize is going to do his thing. And that thing is going to get ripped from your hand. You might play more than one of those in your deck, so that's another card that you can get to kind of clear this board. You are losing all your resources, but at the same time, you are you're okay-ish. You're okay adjacent. Again, you're all right. As Maui, the hero to all, looks like he's going to the Inkwell.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, you could just play them on the field as well and just have another beefy body out there holding it down for you. I'm playing him. Get him active. Let him loose. Let Maui let him ball out. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, he got 10 ink. I think you got enough ink. I'd rather just play that Maui, get him in motion, and kind of check down the board a little bit more and force more options. As we are going to go ahead and Bruno here. Bruno the Maui, get another card. Yeah, you should have had at least another Maui to work with there.
Yeah, but it's always a gamble against Greed Steel. Like, you don't know how to dance, how to position yourself. Do I keep a card? Do I put everything into play? What do I do? And in that scenario, Maui getting inked I wonder what's the play here. Probably at 10 ink, what is interesting though is playing a genie or a rabbit and doing the following play of Medusa or Tremaine.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that all in one turn.
So it looks like the Lorconic Cat is just electing to go for a little goat bounce, goat mambo situation, getting yourself up to 10. Ain't gonna hang tight here, but I mean, maybe you're just trying to set yourself up, put Mao into the inkwell, set yourself up for a nice little rabbit into a play another card, or a genie for 4, play another card. That could be the energy, but I don't know. Maybe you can have him on the board and he can kind of check this Pete whenever he decides to exert with his Prince John and kind of preserve your other guys. We'll see.
Like one thing to say is against Green Steel, there's a lot of gambles, a lot of key decisions, and you don't know the cards your opponents have. You don't have ways to know that, and you just gotta trust your guts.
Mm-hmm. Trust the process. As we're starting to flood, doing the old patent pending green steel flood, and now we got the Ursula Deceiver of All set up, ready to belt some more tunes. If a Strength of the Raging Fire is one of those tunes in her discography right now, this game might be coming to an automatic screeching halt because you're going to be able to discard or banish 2 characters on the board right now, and then I don't think that is a recoverable position. So we'll see, and we will hope. Maybe you have a brawl. I think if you brawl here, you might have to brawl this Ursula, honestly, even though I think strength is just still strong no matter what, as you're able to take down the Pete. And then do you quest this bog and just go for another draw, as the goat's going to quest as well, go to 12. A bog just got played. I'm sorry. Did it? Yeah. Oh no. Ursula's piping up. What's the tune? Oh no.
Oh no, that breaks my heart.
Oh, you knew it was coming. You could just, as soon as the Ursula got put down, you can kind of tell the way Edmund put the Ursula down that it was going to be strength. The way that it was played, the way that it came onto the field, you just knew it was going to be strength of the Raging Fire. And Ursula,
I'm curious, what made you tell? What was the tell?
I mean, it's all energy, it's all vibes. I think usually when people don't when people have when they don't have it and they're hoping to draw it, they'll kind of reluctantly put the Ursula down, maybe like off to the side a little bit. That Ursula came out up front. It was top row. It came down with force and vengeance, and then it was ready to sing Strength of Raging Fire.
Oh my gosh, the top deck of Fox.
Oh, and that is going to get it done right there. And GG's as Edmund of the Tian Who is going to get to the absolute dub on green steel, but still taking nothing away from Lorcana Cat. She did everything she could, but I think that is just how it goes sometimes. And a lot of the curves, a lot of the cards lined up the way you need them to be, and it worked out great for Edmund there. So we're gonna hop into the booth and see if we can have some comms with the players, pick their brains a little bit, see what they're all about. I've been muted. If we can get someone in production to unmute. Greetings, my fellow Illumineers. Greetings, Edmund, Lorcana Cat. Congratulations on a wonderful, well played match, Edmund, for getting the dub, coming out here early and getting the victory with the green steel strategy. So I always like to know when I'm here, what made you bring green steel to this event, and have you been playing green steel a lot this season?
So for those who don't know, Judy, who's also on Team Tianhu, who's my partner, she brought it to. She's been playing green steel for a long time, and I was just like, can you help me pick a deck for this ICL challenge or ICL event? And then because I don't really have like a main deck, and she's like, just play green steel, it's strong. And I know she's done well with it, so I just went ahead and picked it. So last time I played it was like in Vegas. I did play it to 69th finish in Vegas, so I knew the deck was strong. But just haven't been playing green steel lately because of the surge of red blue. But looks like it's still pretty strong. So
yeah, it was definitely effective in that matchup. I think you played it very well. We saw you kind of set it up, and you got your discard, and you played your hypnotizers very well. But is this typically how it goes when you play against red blue? I know you have some prolific, some ruby amethyst. I know you have a lot of ruby amethyst players on your team, and when you guys are testing, you're playing green steel. Does it typically go that way, or is it a little bit different?
Yeah, if the Diablo goes, on the answer, it kind of just if you can play P on important turns where they can't really brawl it, or if you have the cove to protect it, you typically have a pretty good shot at winning. Just because you keep drawing cards that would help you answer whatever they're playing. So that's kind of the pattern of the deck against red deck, at least.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
you're talking about Pete. That Diablo with Pete to Pete back to
Yeah.
back.
I was fortunate enough to have multiple Petes. Yeah.
And then you were able to see the song. Then Ursula came down and take the song. It was just
Yeah.
it was a whole cascade of just.
I
problem
was
after problem after
holding
problem.
onto a bunch of discard cards because I really wanted to get the Prince John payoff, and when I finally drew it, I was like, okay.
It's time to go. Absolutely. I thought it was very well played, and congratulations to you on your victory. But still, taking nothing away from the Lorcana Cat. Lorcana Cat, we saw you load up the Ruby Amethyst strategy. It was pretty spicy. You had some cool cards in there. But is Ruby Amethyst, is that your deck of choice? And can you just talk about why you built this deck this way and how you think it performed for this event?
Sure. Yeah, Ruby Amethyst is my deck of choice. I've been playing it since I started playing. In set 3 is when I really started playing seriously. I just like the play style, love the bounce, love the removal and the control. I anticipated seeing some red blue or some red purple for Ruby Amethyst and Ruby Sapphire from the team. So that's what I teched my deck for today. The Emerald Steel was a surprise. Haven't in the set champs, at least my local meta, it hasn't been popular. So I have flashbacks, maybe a little trauma from the Bucky Diablo days. But I think Ruby Amethyst is well equipped to deal with Emerald Steel discard. I think Edmund just played it very well, had some really well timed discards and Ursulas, and sniped my be prepareds right when I was going to play them, or my brawls, or Pete's right when I needed to play my brawls to get to banish Diablos. He caught me being greedy first game when I didn't ink my goat because I
Yeah.
wanted to hold on to it, and if I had inked the goat, he wouldn't have been able to grab it during it was either a sudden chill or a hypnotize, and I had to choose that or the rabbit, and in this case I had to I think it might have even been a either way, the goat goes, but that was my only inkable card in my hand, so I'm stuck at 6 ink and unable to play my B prep to
Yeah.
clear his board. So that was catching me being greedy, and I paid for it in the first game for sure. And then the second game, I think he just timed his Pete's and his Ursulas perfectly, all at the times where I had the answers in my hand, ready to go, and it was just taken out from under me, which is how that deck is supposed to work. And that's exactly his game plan, and he executed it.
Absolutely. There was one turn, before I toss it over to the question queen, but there was one turn that we
Yeah.
saw, and I believe you had like 4 or 5 cards in your hand, and then he hits you with the Bruno and snipes the brawl. Can you just talk about that play for a second?
Oh my God.
How did
I
that
think
feel?
I think
How did
my
that feel?
stomach just went out from under me because I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? Because I think in my hand too, it was heavily uninkable. So I was either going to play the brawl or use it to ink to play, a bigger, either a Medusa or a Tremaine,
Mhm.
or even if I could get there, the B prep to clear the entire board. So yeah, I'm like, yeah, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, yeah, of course it's the brawl. It can't be any other card. It's the brawl.
Yeah,
So,
that was rough. That was rough.
that's exactly how that deck's supposed to work, and Edmund just played it beautifully.
Absolutely. That's one of those things you
Yeah.
can't even be mad at it. You just have to kind of just
No.
shake your head a little bit and just keep it
No,
moving
like,
on to the next one.
he played the Ursula when he was supposed to play and played the Pete when he was supposed to play the Pete. So, that's how it's supposed to work.
Absolutely. Question queen, you have anything you want to ask?
Yeah.
I know I've been hogging all the questions. I do that sometimes.
Well, some of the questions I've had, and I want to know about some of the spice because I love the spice in every deck. I want to know what made you choose some of the alternative choices we see compared to traditional ruby amethyst, including Queen of Hearts, the Maui's fish hooks, and
Yeah.
and so on. You probably have other things. I will let you tell the story.
Sure, great question. The Queen of Hearts was really a tech for Amber Steel, whether it's the traditional steel song or the Diggy Diggy Hole that we've been seeing. So you can come in early and surprise them and take, really their singers, especially Cinderella or even a Piglet if you have to. And even late game, sometimes you just gotta come in and having that rush character if you have to. So that was the thought behind Queen of Hearts because Ruby Amethyst typically is a slower playing deck. It's the control deck, and those aggro decks that we've really been seeing this meta can really just run away with the game before you can even get to 7 and play your B prep. So that's where the Queen of Hearts came in, and it's been really successful. The Maui's Fishhook was a brand new addition for tonight in response to Din's winning deck and the addition that we're seeing a lot with the Ruby Sapphire decks with they're all those players are adding back the manners, and if they put down 2 manners, I don't care what deck you're playing, you're kind of cooked when you're playing if they lay down 2 manners on you at once. So with a fish hook
Yeah.
and a Maui, you can take down a manner in one swing. So the hooks have been really nice, and it's also really nice in general where if you need to you can give another character +3 if you have the extra ink, or even extra some evasive till your next turn to get some extra protection. So I know we haven't really been playing fish hook since I think it came out in set 3, but it's a little extra spice. My choice was to take out Flynn's. Flynn's, really don't hit that often and quite often end up being ink. So it was my choice to take those out, add 2 rabbits in, not rabbits, genies in, and 2 fish hooks. So that's where I found some room for some of that spice.
Oh, very nice, very nice. I like the
Yeah.
explanation. It sounded very good. I like that. I like that. I like the deck a lot. All right, but Edmund, we're gonna toss back over to you again really
Oh,
quick. I gotta
yeah.
know what does Tian Hu stand for? What does that mean in I mean, is there
Yeah, for sure.
I gotta know. I just gotta know for my
Yeah,
own
yeah, yeah.
knowledge.
So, our team is predominantly Asian American, and
Mm-hmm.
one of the hobbies that we share is playing mahjong. So,
Mm.
Tianhu is actually a term in mahjong where, are you guys familiar with how the game plays? Or
Yes. I don't know how
okay,
to play, but I've played
so
I've seen the computer.
yeah, so
I don't
you're
know.
dealt, so you're dealt 13 tiles, and you're supposed to construct like a winning sort of call hand over the course of like playing out your tiles and collecting tiles from drawing from the main like the center of the table. Sometimes or not, it's really really rare where you'd win off of the initial draw, and that's called Tian Hu. Where so the Hu means winning in the game of mahjong. The Tian means sky, like divine.
Mm-hmm.
So together it kind of just means like uh divine draw, because your first draw already wins you the game. So
Okay.
it's like it symbolizes like a really really good fortunate auspicious draw
So it's like a
on the
OTK.
first turn. Yeah,
Like
FTK
a
almost.
like an
Actually,
OTK, like nice.
FTK.
FTK,
Yeah,
okay, okay,
yeah,
okay, and it's very rare, but that's dope, man. I love the explanation, and I love the way you guys came out here and played, and I love your guys' team. I see you guys always fit it up, man. You guys look like a cohesive unit when you're showing up to these events, and it's kind of a cool thing. I wish I had something like
yeah.
that in my own life, man. But I love to see it. But before we let you guys go, where can we find you if we want to see more Edmund, and how can we get to know more about your guys' team?
Yeah, so we're on YouTube. We actually just released a video where like the team got together, and then we did like a social, like more fun and chill ask everyone question type video. It's on
Hmm.
YouTube, and then our team channel is just Genhu TCG. You can find
Okay,
us over there. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Right. Right on, right on. And same thing to you, Lorcana Cat. I mentioned this in the intro as well. I did have the opportunity. I don't know exactly. I don't know. I'm not good with names, but I did meet some of your guys' members in, I believe it was in DLC in Seattle. It was a wonderful engagement. I think they really represent the game very well. I got my own little. I showed this earlier. If you guys missed it, I have my own Love to Lore token that I
So
keep with
beautiful.
me. And just because I met, we just had a nice little moment. We all kind of chilled and just talked about the game and just had a good interaction. It really, really inspired me to keep playing. This is when I was a little bit newer to the game, and they were very welcoming. So it's just something I learned about your guys' team, and hopefully you guys continue to keep that going because it does mean a lot to a lot of people. So keep that attitude going. And sorry you didn't win today, but where can we find more Love to Lore? Where can we find more our Katie Lorcana Cat?
Sure, thank you. I'm personally Lorcana Cat. Am on Instagram under Lorcana Cat. But Love to Lore, we're also on Instagram and Twitter. We also have a Discord. It is limited to anyone of marginalized genders because we want it to be a welcoming community. So we welcome anyone who is of a marginalized gender, no matter what skill level, whether you're brand new to Disney Lorcana or you're interested in the competitive scene. We have all sorts of people around that sort of spectrum of, I'm just here to have fun with Disney Lorcana, or I'm very super competitive and really interested in the game. So come to our Discord, Love to Lore. We'd love to have you. So you can find us, like I said, Instagram, Twitter, and on Discord.
Nice, 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 nice. Well, thank you all both for coming out and playing. Question Queen, you have anything again that you want to throw in there? I don't know. I'm so sorry.
Well, you're saying all the good stuff right now, and I'm like, yeah. So I just want to say thank you so much for all the competitors tonight. It has been amazing to see you play. I've learned a trick or two with everything, and I just love the reasoning behind every little cards that are put into the decks, the stories behind. So I want to say thank you so much for bringing that on the surface.
Absolutely. 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 Again, thank you both so much. Thank you both so much. And we're probably about to wrap the show. I think I got production coming in at some point. That's right. That's right. Of course, everyone out here watching this program tonight, thank you guys for viewing. But the most important thank you goes out to the staff behind the scenes who have done an incredible job keeping this thing going. The judges and all the crew that helped, especially Wonderland as well, doing the production in the booth, man, keeping this thing moving. So thank you so much for volunteering your time and doing this. The judges and the crew and the staff, and it's been an absolute blast. Another beautiful ICL night. This is my favorite night of the week. These ICL nights. Quickly.
I gotta know, GDZ. It has been a pleasure, like casting with you tonight. I wanted to do that for some time. I've seen you working so hard, and I wanted to have a moment with you.
Oh, thank you so much. It was so nice to be with you as well, Quest and Queen. It's not work. It's all fun when I'm in the booth with people who
Oh
love
yeah.
Lorcana as much as I do. So it's been great, and it's been a good vibe.
So let me hear you. Where can we find you on the socials?
You can find me. I'm JDZ Quest. I'm on Twitch. I'm on YouTube. And I'm going to be here. I'm going to help in Wonderland a lot doing some commentary for the ICL. And just like on Friday, we got Team Ohana versus the Select Few coming in. It's going to be another absolute drag down knockout brawl. So make sure you guys tune in Friday night ICL. You guys, I probably won't be here because I got to go down to SSG. I got another tournament I have to go to, so I won't be here. But I'll be watching on my phone and I'll be in the comment section cheering on the teams as they get out there and do it. But if you guys want to see me, I'll be on JDZ Quest on Twitch, on YouTube, on X, and all the like Instagram. Follow me, get out there and do it, and come on out there and check it out. I do appreciate it.
So, yeah, well, if you want to find me out on the socials too, my name is Questing Queen TCG on all platforms, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, soon on Blue Sky if I have the discipline to set that up. And I've taken a break from doing contents on my own stuff, but I'll be back for a stream on next Tuesday, the 11th. Mark that on your calendar. I will be talking about interesting stuff, deck tech, and other goodies and special stuff. So stay tuned.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all for watching the ICL. We're going to prepare a raid, so make sure you guys stick around as we're going to check out Sprinkle of Fink. So tune in, let them know where you came from. And before you leave, make sure you give Wonderland a follow. If you got a Prime Nasty sitting around, throw him a Prime sub, regular sub. Help Wonderland out, man. Keep the program going, and so we keep the lights on for the show, so we don't have to lose it. But seriously, thank you all. Until next time, I'm JDZ. I'm on the quest. Shout out to the real ones. Salute to the OGs. Peace. Oh.